And we're back with another episode of The Scale of Fate. I don't know what I just did. That was weird. Anyways, previously, in the last session, 2 weeks ago, you all, well, while Magnus went to console with beings of the depths, per se, the rest of you decided to explore the town, or the city of Giantsbane. Encountering a few interesting individuals along the way, as well as one that you've met now twice, as you guys encountered him a second time, stealing away from a sort of a, you could call it a bookstore or a library of sorts, somewhere that a lot of old tomes and scrolls had been stored away. Um, and one of you as well, going out and attempting to tame a ripper, which, as if at the moment, seems to have been successful, but that can change at any moment. um, and the rest, as you all kind of gathered in the tavern you had kind of claimed for yourselves for the night, as you know, this is a ghost town. There is nobody here except for those who have entered to
You said that the last
search.
time.
Yes, I'm stating it again for the audience.
No, I meant like before
You're
we
just
found
making a
like a
joke.
whole ass
Alex,
like
shut the fuck up.
caravan of people
You
in
found
town.
3 dudes.
4
Four. Okay,
plus.
4 people.
Well, actually, isn't that owl person a so
Oh my
5?
god. Shut the fuck up.
Owl.
Found 5.
I've only counted 4.
Anyways, continue.
Anyways. Um, got me off track now. You all gathered in the tavern, finding a place to rest for the night. Cal had ended up bunking with Trinket to ensure that she was well throughout the night. The rest of you doing your own sleeping arrangements. I don't know what you guys would have picked for the time.
I was gonna
You
try to
have a room
bond
with
with
the
the ring
Ripper.
while I sleep. Yeah, no, I'm with
Yeah.
the Ripper, but I was going to connect with the ring while I sleep as well.
Okay, yeah, you can attune
I'll,
to
I'll,
it.
okay, I'll switch them.
And we'll jump to Magnus real quick. It's been a few hours since you've spoken with the entities that you wish to console with. In the chamber, there's still 1 or 2 of the withered bodies kind of laying on the floor with a bed that you had set up with the recently resurrected priestess laying upon it, your sister, who is currently unconscious due to what you can only be assumed to be a level of exhaustion and seems to just need rest in order to recover at the moment. You, on the other hand, have gone through a bit of a change. You're kind of sitting within the room. There is a mirror within the room that you are able to see yourself within. Um, the changes that you kind of experience, your once just gray skin is now more of a palish gray-green color. While your eyes have taken on the whites of your eyes have kind of become blackened and bloodshot, while the blue tint of your irises has now dulled and turned to a very dull gray color. And your form, due to the sacrifice you had to make for one of the deals you made, seems to be slightly withered than it was before, as you had to sacrifice a bit of your life force for the thing that you had sacrificed, or the thing that you had asked for. You had to sacrifice a bit of your life force and soul for. But you are sitting in this room alone with your sister, who is unconscious at the moment. You do know that outside in the temple, you did hear while you were making these deals, the sound of Sins was moving about within the temple, probably cleaning up the bodies as best he could by himself. And he's been at this for a few hours. Okay. You do. What? Okay, say that
Only
again.
you can be heard.
I unmuted it. It showed unmuted. Luckily, that was the only thing said. Say it again for me, please.
Yes. Magnus would go out to find Sins because after being distracted with speaking to all that he'd need to speak to, he needs to tell Sin something about the bodies.
Okay. Now that we've addressed that for the audience. All right, he's easy to find. You go out there, you find that he is actually he's been shifting the bodies towards the doorway, and it does appear that outside there looks to be a cart that he acquired from somewhere within the town that he's gathering the bodies with.
Don't worry about the bodies in here. When she wakes up, she's going to need thralls.
All right. And kind of the body, he's kind of this withered Goliath body that he was kind of carrying along. He kind of moves over and just kind of sets down next to a couple others. He says, "Then what is it that I can help with?"
Did you gather others from this place?
Just by the door, there's one or two in the cart.
Leave the cart. You don't need to get them out or anything. The bodies are more useful when she's awake.
He kind of gives a nod. He says, "The others all went to one of the taverns," and he kind of points off in the general direction, which, being someone who's been in this town before, you would know probably the general tavern they probably went to. He says, "If you need to go elsewhere, I can stay and tend to the priestess if needed."
No. I watch her.
He kind of gives a nod and kind of shifts over to like clean up some other things that are within the room, kind of like looking about to see if there's anything that is possibly salvageable within the space. But he's not really saying anything now.
Here is almost a lost cause. Just find something for her to eat.
I have a few things in my pack. I'm just waiting for that moment.
All right. And he just stay at the bedside, man.
Okay. Would you be resting or would you be attentive the entire time?
No time for rest. Not right now.
Okay. The rest of you take a long rest because you would be resting. Magnus, roll in a Constitution saving throw for me.
Oh, if you mean that.
Yeah, it's a rest like that. I'm talking like you have
I
to
thought you were
sleep. You
talking
have to
something
sleep a little
else.
bit. If you get at least 4 hours within that 8
Yeah,
hours.
I thought you
of
were talking
sleep there.
something else. Yeah, I'll take a.
No,
I'll take like
yeah,
an
I'm talking about
actual
resting. I'm
handful of
literally
rest.
talking about like taking a rest to heal.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all rest for the night. The rest of you, which we'll jump to now, you all wake up the next morning. Which of you would be up first? I want to know out of the group that's together.
I think Errol might be on edge with the Ripper,
Okay.
so we might be up just to check on it. But I'm in a separate room, right?
If you would, there would have been rooms to do that. So if you wanted to be in a separate room of the Ripper, then yeah, you could be.
I would assume I'm in a separate room so no one else gets killed in case I fuck
I meant
up.
I meant a separate. You're with the Ripper in a room, right? That's what I
Oh,
was
yeah,
thinking.
yeah,
yeah. No, you would have been by
yeah.
yourself with that. I don't think anyone else in the party would have dared try to sleep in the
that's-
same room with it.
That's okay. I was just
Yeah.
clarifying.
Plus,
yeah.
you would have come in much later than the rest of the party, so they all probably would have already claimed their rooms.
Okay.
So you would have had the chance of like claiming a room to yourself without anyone knowing you have this Ripper.
Yeah, I just wake up and I go over and like scratch his head.
Okay. It seems docile. It doesn't seem aggressive, but it does seem. You guess by the signs that it's showing, it is hungry at the moment.
Offer it a piece of meat since I have an unholy quantity.
It happily takes. The checks
Do
are
I need
going
a
to
roll?
Yeah, not right now because the last one you rolled. I think I made you roll like 20 times, and you passed like 90%.
I have down. I rolled 13 times.
13, pretty close to 20. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a lot of rolling for that one encounter. Which I'm gonna let it rest for a second, just a little bit.
Oh, God bless. I don't want my hand eaten yet.
I think you succeeded all but one roll, so like
Yeah.
it's not going to be aggressive.
There was a couple of them that I got pretty low, but there was one I think I got like a 12 or something. And it
Yeah,
got a
the
little
rest of them
angry
you
with
were
me.
like above the DC, so you were good. So yeah, you're in a room with the Ripper. Are you leaving the room with it, or are you just staying in the room with it?
No, I'm just gonna stay with it. Just
Okay.
kind of just pet.
Journey, where would you have been staying for the night?
Staying in my own room, I'd also have kind of like been on edge, like Errol, but kind of like in regards to kind of like our discussion with Cal and
The others.
Leo the previous night. Just kind of thinking
Yeah.
things over.
Okay, so a bit of a restless night. You did get your long rest, but you're a little tired this morning. Okay. What about Leo?
I would be sleeping like a baby.
Goddamn baby. Would you be alone? Would you be in your own room? Because Cal and Trinket are together.
Yeah, I'd be in my own room,
Okay.
sleeping like a baby.
Errol might.
Probably cuddling my loot. Or liar, sorry.
Errol, after checking on the Ripper, would probably head over to Journey's room.
Okay. Let's play this out.
Do I know where she's sleeping?
You would have an idea. It's not this place wouldn't be that hard to figure it out.
Alright, I'd go over to the door. I'd knock and say, "Can I come in?"
Sure.
Kind of stumble in. Be like, "Well, good news. I have my arms, but I've been thinking about our conversation from yesterday.
And
What are we gonna do?"
that all depends on Magnus. We'll have to see him again at some point. But
do we wait to fill him in on the info of his sister's killer now, or should we wait until after we get to I think it's Giant's Bane, right? Wherever the
Giant's Bane.
monastery is.
Winter's Bane.
Oh, is it Winter's Bane then? With the monastery?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we could wait until we get to Winter's Bane. Let's see how.
Oh, let's just see how everything plays out whenever we see him today.
You want to come meet my new friend? It might help. Can take some load off, maybe.
Wait, is this what you're talking about? Not losing both your arms too? What were you doing last night?
I was getting a friend.
Uh-huh.
I've been a little lonely on my journeys ever since I left my home country, so I figured might as well have a companion now.
Well, let's see what kind of friend you found.
Alright, I'll bring Journey over.
Journey, as you enter this room, you see a very large Ripper that has one of these beds had been torn to shreds and then used to make somewhat of a, you could call it a nest of some sort. And you see this large beast sitting upon the bed and kind of glances in your direction. Errol, you would notice this as well. As you do enter, you do see the kind of hackles on the back of its neck kind of stand on end, and it seemed to almost shift in a way that it's readying itself for something. Whether that's like defensive or aggressive, you don't know.
Errol would put his hand out and kind of present a piece of meat and be like, Journey, by any chance, do you have speak to wildlife?
Uh, no, I have. I mean, I can. Is that a ripper?
Yeah, I think it's the pack leader. I don't know.
An alpha?
Yeah, I kind of found a herd of them last night while I was adventuring, and it's my pet. What should I call him? I was thinking toothless, kind of like ironic,
It
because he
has
has big
giant,
canines.
It has two giant like saber tooths.
I know.
Okay, I back to the question at hand. I can't understand it, but I can compel it to understand me.
Can you compel it to understand me, or is it
Uh,
only you?
just me. I mean, if is there something you want me to tell it, or
Oh, just tell it. We're all friends here, and we're gonna have soft tacos later.
what the hell is a talk? Okay. So I kind of like reach my hand out using universal speech, and I relay Errol's message to the Ripper, um, saying that it's among friends. And Errol, what else should I be
You
saying?
better tell it it has soft tacos later. I swear to God.
Here, whatever you say, I'll just parrot it for word.
Okay.
Like I don't know how to talk this thing.
I need you to either roll me. Actually, yeah, roll me an animal handling check with the spell.
With just me?
Yeah, like roll an animal handling check. Yes.
Okay. Would I get a advantage? Would I be able to roll with advantage because Errol's helping?
I am present.
I would say yes because technically it is friendly with him at the moment.
We're having soft tacos later.
17.
17.
Oh, you got lucky.
It seems
I saw that 10
to
pop up.
it seems to calm down a little bit, kind of lowering itself back down, but it will not remove its gaze on you. It's just staring you down.
Do you want to feed him, or
Have
I don't
you
know.
fed him?
I'm still trying to acclimate him right now. I don't know if he fully trusts me yet, but he didn't kill me in my sleep, so I call that a win.
Just to clarify, you have fed him before, right? And he didn't fall when your
Yeah.
wings off. So, okay,
Yeah, how
okay.
do you think I got him back?
As a note, Errol's like half the size of this thing too, which is hilarious.
Errol's also grinning. I am smiling I'm very proud
As much
of
as a bird can
bringing
grin.
this thing back.
As much as a bird can grin, he is doing it.
Just hand me the meat.
Yeah, do you have a picture of a ripper?
I'll
I'm just
pass
gonna.
him the
I
piece of
do
meat.
not.
So she takes the meat in a hand and kind of like slowly approaches the Ripper.
Another animal handling check for me with advantage because he is present.
Okay.
Who asked about a
Please
picture?
roll a 10.
Just put it in the chat if you have it, Dread.
I don't have one. I was just gonna
16.
give him a description.
God, that 5 scares me.
What did you get?
I'm a
You got a
16.
16. Oh yeah, because he's. This is one of. Wait, do you have proficiency in animal handling?
I have +3. So I have a bonus on it, but not proficiency, so to say.
Okay. Okay. It slowly kind of approaches as you hold this meat out. And it does do a quick snatch, but it is not close enough to your fingers. You do find yourself yanking your hand back, though, instinctively. But it does take the meat without you losing your fingers.
See, I told you I was able to feed him.
Uh-huh.
I'm super excited
Okay.
to know what you guys are going to name it.
I'm naming him Toothless. I don't give a fuck if he has giant canines.
I need a fucking picture of him.
We'll work on finding one at some point.
Okay, so Errol, everyone kind of knows of our intentions here except Trinket, correct?
That is true. I don't think we've brought it up with Trinket quite yet.
No, I asked
but
Cal to keep it secret from her for now.
I'm worried, Journey. I don't know how she's gonna take this.
Alaska has a cryptid that's very similar to the thing to Ripper.
All right. Alaska also has the Tornoktu, so let's see it.
Well, only difference is the saber-tooths come from the bottom jaw instead of the top. But I mean, evolution's a funky thing. That could just be a world lore thing as well.
Yeah. We'll say just like if you show everyone else, we don't have to show the stream, but
Oh, is that what it looks like?
but the teeth are on the top instead of the bottom.
Dealer's choice.
I like to think it is on the top because I like to think of a saber-toothed wolf. It's really fun to think about.
That is the original idea from when I thought of it as well, because of how they fight. These things are supposed to be able to take down dire bears, so those teeth are fucking massive.
That's why naming him Toothless is going to be even better.
All right.
I'm gonna name him Toothless. I don't give a fuck.
So what are you two doing? Because everyone else is asleep, or you have no idea what they're doing at the moment.
What about Titus?
I'm gonna turn to Trinket and be like, or not Trinket, Journey. And do you think we should tell Trinket now, or I hate keeping a secret from her.
I suppose it would be for the best.
Can you go tell her? I'm gonna keep an eye on this one here.
Oh, okay.
I don't want him tearing into the rest of the party.
It's probably wise.
Yeah.
Do you know if any of the others are awake, or is it just us three? Us three.
I don't know. I found your room first. You're the only one I visited. I kind of just woke up and fed this one here.
No, I'll
I'm gonna
try.
turn to the Ripper and be like, "You want to go hunting, bud? You want to go outside and get some food?" Kind of like pat my legs.
I want you to roll an animal handling check to see how likely it is to understand you.
God, I wish I had speak to animals. That would be so fucking helpful right now. Is there any advantage?
This isn't a high DC by any means. This is something very simple. I just want to see. There's like a percentage chance that this thing just has no idea what the fuck you're doing.
I feel like there's only two real ways to communicate with basically an angry wolf with basically a wolf with an anger problem, and that's either just so animalistic and savage it just has to follow you, or you can just literally talk to it.
Errol's gonna talk to it like it's a puppy. He does not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Errol's his legs and it attacks his legs.
Are minimal. I got a 17.
17. That is significantly higher than my DC. You see it like any dog you've ever seen kind of jump up on its feet and kind of like do like the downwards dog position type deal and like wagging its tail. It looks like it wants to play.
Right, I'm gonna turn to Journey and be like, okay, I'm taking him outside. We're gonna go hunting real quick.
Okay, just don't take too long. Honestly, I'd like to get this business taken care of as soon as possible. I'll try finding wherever Cal and Trinket are bedding down.
Okay, I wish you luck on that. It seems I've been able to connect with this ring here, so worst case, I'll be able to see what you guys are up to from a distance.
Oh yeah, what does that thing do?
I think it lets me watch far. I don't really know yet, but that's what the dragon hinted at. I could see my enemies coming. I don't know. I'll let you know in a bit. We'll see what happens.
Suppose we will.
Okay.
And then Errol's gonna take the Ripper outside.
As you like open the door, it lets out this like loud howl. almost like you know how like huskies get excited and they will like howl, not like the screaming like the huskies do, but they'll do like a howl and then go do stuff.
Yeah.
This is what
They're
this
like-
thing is doing. It makes a
Or
howl
like
and then
rears back and
yes,
everything.
and then it busts through the door like full speed, like nearly
Okay.
taking you out on the way out the door. But yeah, you are being led outside by him because he's not. You're not leading him. He is ahead of you.
Okay, I'm just following him.
Okay, Journey. After seeing this, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna try to track down Cal and Trinket's room.
Am I gonna like waken from that?
How deep of a sleeper is Leo?
I don't know, man. I was sleeping like a baby. I guess that's up to you to decide.
We're
Our
gonna
baby's
roll a
pretty fitful.
d20. We're gonna roll a d20.
Okay.
If I roll below a certain
you
number, yeah, I'm gonna roll. If I roll below a certain number, you are a light sleeper. You are a heavy sleeper. You may stir a little bit from
Of course
this.
he is.
You may stir,
Leonardo,
you
he's
may
the
stir a
football
little bit
arch.
from this. Like you hear this and you kind of like mutter in your sleep and kind of roll over. Other than that, you have no idea what the fuck happened.
I think it would be funny if when I rolled over, my lyre like strummed a little bit, made some noise. It still didn't wake me up. That I have coddled in my arms.
Yeah, you just hear it from the other rooms. It's just Journey. As you're walking out in the hall, you do hear from one of the doors a mutter before a dun, like a lyre.
I'm gonna get my guitar so we can do this right.
I unfortunately don't
I'll-
own one. I thought about
I'll-
trying to get a lyre, but I was like, I would never learn how to play it, so why would I have one?
Peek in that room where I heard the bing from.
Yep, there's the noise. That was the noise. You peek in, you do find the the very sleepy Leobardo cuddling his lyre in bed.
I'm gonna peek my head in through the door, and I'm going to poke him using my mage hand in the face.
He's just kind of like it's like a drunk, like trying to wake up a drunk. It's just like moving a dead body. He's not
Damn.
responding.
Okay, I'm gonna use mage hand to play the lyre very loudly next to him. His lyre.
It could be more majestic than that, but sure. This is
think
Journey we're
so.
talking about,
Nice.
one of the greatest musicians.
Oh yeah.
I intentionally want to play it very poorly to wake him up with the discordant sounds.
Yeah, I think playing it very poorly should give me an advantage to wake up like, oh, what is that sound? No, my pure lyre.
I would say you would hear this, and it would be like one of those like, huh, what's going on type waking up situation, like half awake, like semi-conscious, like you're not fully there, but you're there enough to like respond.
Yeah, I don't know what year I'm in.
Yeah. I don't know what year I'm in.
Classic. Okay.
You did get your shit
Uh,
kicked in by Trinket the night before, so you know
Did I? I don't even remember that.
you were vulnerable to piercing damage, and that's all she does.
yeah. That's right. That's right. All right. Oh, what? What's happening?
Leo, get up. It's sometime in the morning.
5 more minutes.
It's been 5 minutes. Get up.
The pause.
My character just groans and then like
Haphazardly.
groggily, yeah, haphazardly, like shimmies his way out with his eyes like still half closed.
Like, you guys ever like nod off, like after you've just woken up, you fall back asleep. It feels like you've been like closed your eyes for 5 seconds, but it's been like an hour.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
all the time.
I'm
Yeah, I was
picturing.
lying.
I can't remember what animation I've seen this from, but I picture him kind of sliding to the edge of the bed, and like instead of getting up, he just falls out of the bed with like a thud, and
Sounds
kind of like
that sounds like
slowly
a Sokka
gets up.
scene.
Yeah.
Dude,
It sounds like a
legitimately,
Sokka thing.
Like I feel like it was an
Legitimately-
Avatar. I feel like that was
Exactly.
where it was from. With
Exactly.
Legitimately, one time I woke up years upon years ago. I got out of bed and then was so fucking lightheaded. I fainted.
I've done that.
That's
But it
called
wasn't
low
after
iron.
being
You
lightheaded.
ever
It was
just straight up
allergies.
roll out of fucking bed and just face plant in the fucking carpet?
I once rolled out of bed and then proceeded to caterpillar my way to the living room. If you know what that means.
Fuck.
How did you
Weird.
manage that?
Pure laziness and mild amusement while being half awake. I am an
Classic.
enigma. But anyways,
So now that Leo's awake, I'll tell him I'm gonna go wake up Callum Trinket. Errol and I decided to let Trinket in on our plan before we actually meet up with Magnus.
Um, Leo's gonna like rub his eyes, be like, "Who? What is it like? How does time work in this universe? Is it the same as normal time?"
it is, instead of months, we have zeniths.
I
That's
meant
the only thing.
like time of day.
Oh, time, yeah. Time works exactly the same.
Alright.
I'm not gonna make a new time. Fuck that.
Alright. He's gonna rub his eyes, be like, "Oh, what is it like 5 o'clock?"
The sun is out.
It's I don't know. I don't exactly have a timepiece on me. It's the sun is up in the sky though. And since
Oh.
there's no clocks or anything here to argue with me, I'm just gonna say it's noon.
Oh man, I slept that long.
If it makes you feel more well rested, yes.
Alright.
Journey, if you want to actually know
Drink.
the time, perception check or investigation are your choices.
Okay. Let's see.
Because I don't think
If
you
I
have
can
keen mind, which would tell you exactly what time it is. But
Yeah. I only rolled a 13.
you know it's about probably early morning, possibly close to mid morning, kind of like that 8 or 9 o'clock gap.
Still not gonna tell him it's 8 or 9 in the morning.
My
It's
character's
noon.
way too tired to realize it.
That's why I'm not telling you to do the check. You don't get the
So-
check.
So Journey's gonna walk over him and reach out a hand, like if he'll take it to help him up.
Oh no, I'm already standing.
Just hit the floor and like
You're
immediately
already-
got up.
No, like I like pushed like kind of rolled off of bed on my feet obviously, but like holding the side of the bed, like kind of leaning on it, and when I rubbed my eyes, but I was up on my feet, but I was like holding myself up.
All
And
right.
when you get closer, then he's just gonna grab his lyre and then follow you out slowly because he like kind of groggily still, obviously.
Time to find the last relevant room.
All right. You get to the room and you hear kind of Cal softly talking on the inside. You can't exactly make out what he's saying, but you do hear him talking.
I'm going to gently open the door. Just, in case Trinket is still asleep. You don't want to be like knocking on the door, wake someone up.
You come in and you see that they're sitting. It looks like he was talking to her while sitting next to her on like the bed or whatever. She seems to look a little distraught, but seems to have calmed down from whatever kind of fit that she had before you entered. And Cal's kind of just
Leo
sitting
with
there next to her, like with kind of like holding her hand, trying to comfort her.
as Leo like stumbles into the room, he's gonna be like, "Wake up, sleepyheads! It's noon." Without even like noticing that they're not asleep.
Cal just kind of looks at him confused and looks to you, Journey. Trinket not really paying him any mind.
Good morning.
Morning to you as well.
How'd you sleep?
Well enough. Slight rough night.
That makes some sense. I don't know. Arrow and I talked. We decided it'd probably be best to kind of, let Trinket in on what we talked about last night.
She kind of glances up at you and says, "What is that?"
Well, while you were being tended to by Cal, Arrow and I headed out into town, and well, we got a lead on who did all of this. But well, we're not sure it's a good idea to tell Magnus about it. He's in such like headspace. We're afraid that he'll blindly rush us all to our deaths. We barely survived against that bloodhound, and well, I don't think we can really take on its master right now.
She kind of gives you a nod and kind of looks down at the ground, kind of rubbing kind of a spot on her side that where the bloodhound had bitten her. Kind of deep in thought for a moment.
He's been acting more and more erratic lately, and the death is his sister. I'm not sure what he'll do now.
Hey, shouldn't Errol be here?
He's out feeding his dog.
Got a dog?
Dog? This is Cal talking. Dog?
One of those ugly wolf things that live in the mountains around here.
A ripper?
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it is, a ripper. Managed to, I wouldn't say tame, but befriend? I don't know. He's out feeding it.
I see.
Hopefully not with corpses in that church.
We'll have to go back there eventually. We should check in on Magnus, but I can't imagine what he's going through. We were going to tell him what we learned once we concluded our business in Wintersbane.
Well, I'm just here to follow. So, whatever choice you make, it's up to you.
It's your choice too, Trinket.
Oh no, this is Cal talking. Trinket's not talking.
Oh, sorry.
This is
Oh.
Cal. This is all Cal. Trinket is in her head right now.
Oh, sorry.
Trying to change the voices up, and I'm not doing a good job. I apologize.
I mean, that's what you want, Cal. I mean, I guess you aren't really under any obligation to stay with us.
To be
Should
honest,
things go away that you don't like.
once we reach back to the Outlands or Almoria, depending on where you all are going, I may disband. I have obligations northwards that I need to return to. Some of my brethren up there are still attempting to spread hope, and they are without me.
Goddess knows we need more hope in this world.
Ow.
Seeing Trinket process everything after hearing it, ignoring the ow from Leo.
No, that wasn't my character. That was like me.
I just imagine Leo just stubbed his toe in the bed frame or something. And I'll ask some Trinket if she's okay.
She remembers the fucking scratches the Trinket caused. Ow!
Every time you hear her name, you just think of a rapier sticking into you. She kind of glances up at you, kind of pausing for a moment, and just kind of gives a very small nod and says, I think so.
Okay.
I think I'm fine.
Do you think we should keep this information from Magnus? He will want revenge, but we know how he is. He could drag us all down with us.
The longer we leave him with his thoughts, the longer they'll fester.
I agree. It's probably best we head to this church as soon as possible.
Who is
Who?
it?
Who?
Oh, Errol must be back.
The arrow.
Star-Lord.
Who is the one who caused the Bloodwell Hound?
A paladin. We was a Goliath. There were others in this town. Gone now. They were hunting him.
Do we know him?
No. Perhaps Magnus does, but I don't intend to broach the question. I'd prefer to keep him in the dark.
What was
Until-
his name? If you got that.
I didn't. Seems to be an entity of pure evil.
Paladin.
Was it said where he
Pure evil.
went?
Did you say and paladin, Alec?
What?
Never mind.
I said a paladin of pure evil. That's what I said. What did you think I said?
And a paladin.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said. I
And
was
they
like-
were roommates. That was
That's
the
what I
energy
thought
I
he
got
was
off
saying. I
of
was
that.
like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
That was
We've
the
been
energy
moved.
I got off of what you thought he said was, and they were roommates.
We've been led to believe that this killer has relocated to the Outlands through obviously magical means. The hunters who are tailing him are they've teleported there. They're tracking him. They seem a strong bunch, maybe a touch overconfident, but we didn't have any problems with them.
So you're kind of thinking for a moment. She says, we could use this as a way to get home.
That's why I was thinking. That's why I wanted to tell him after we concluded our business in Winter's Bane.
To be honest, I would like to be able to see home again.
As would I.
Where is your home?
We're from Almoria.
Am I from Admoria, Mr. DM man?
I'd probably say yes. A lot of people are from Almoria, and you wouldn't fit some of the other countries, so yeah, you'd be from Almoria.
Is that where I vanished from?
You were on a trip. You were in the mountains of Almoria when you got blamped
Poof.
here.
Blamped.
It's a word. I made it up just now.
That's how all words happen.
Hmm
Made up.
I decided it was a word, and therefore it was born.
Agreed.
Such as God gave birth to the universe, you know. All right. Ah, my knee. All right. Anyways, I turned my chair too fast and hit the corner of my desk. Oh, my knee.
Oof.
These corners are sharp too. Oof. That was fun. All right. Anyways, yeah. So you're all sitting here now with that thought in mind.
I'm
What would you
from
like to do?
Admoria too. Wait, Moria. That's what I said.
Moria.
You are aware of the war back home, aren't you?
Am I aware of that?
I would say Leo is clueless.
What war?
Our home is at war at Sarfstag.
Sarthstag. Classic Sarth stag. Why?
Don't tell me you aren't even aware of Sarfstag.
Oh no, I know Sarth stag. I mean,
You know,
I know
our
of.
neighbor, the
No,
neighbor
I
that's
know.
currently invading our home.
No, yeah, I know of them. I mean, I don't know any Sarth Stagians, but yeah, I know of them. What they fighting about? Someone stole their sweet roll.
No, it kind of started while we were making our way over here to the meat grinder. So I honestly have absolutely no clue why we're at war, but I need to get home and make sure my family is okay. Morian Bay would be a good place to invade.
What?
That's where I'm from, Morian Bay.
You would
It's
know
a
where that is.
Oh,
it's a,
okay.
it's a bay, you know,
No,
pretty good
I know where
place to
that
go.
is.
Invade, take the infrastructure, invade inland from there. So,
I apologize for the chip sound bag.
yeah, I want to get home, but I don't want to rush
What?
it.
You don't want to rush it. Why?
Oh,
I mean, everything's been trying to kill you here, hasn't it? The meat grinder.
yeah, but it was trying to kill me in the Outlands too. So,
About the ocean.
that was just kind of cold. And the sooner we can quit our business here, the sooner we can get to the Outlands, the sooner I can get home.
Preferably alive, I take it.
Yeah, preferably.
So what's the next
Well, I think the next move is confronting Magnus. I assume he's at the church of his sister's body. He didn't rest. He didn't come here to rest last night, and well, we didn't even tell him we were going to be resting here. So
Probably should have helped him bury her.
perhaps, but it's too late to. Let's just go.
Okay. Cal gives you a nod and kind of gets to his feet. Trinket getting up beside him. Kind of letting out a deep sigh as she does and follows you out the door. Errol, we'll jump to you real quick. Where are you trying to take Toothless?
Hold on. Has your character called him that yet? Because I feel like I feel like Leo would
Are
be the
you talking
perfect.
to me? Where am I trying to take Toothless? He's leading the way, I thought.
He let you outside. Now
All
it's
right.
your choice from this point.
Errol's going to not sniff the air, just kind of survey the area, and I'll roll a perception check.
Yep, perception check works.
Yo, Evan, has your character called him Toothless yet?
Huh?
Has Errol called him Toothless yet?
Not yet.
I feel
I'll
like
send-
I
huh?
feel like Leo would be the Leo would absolutely call him Toothless.
I figured he would. Okay.
Just thought.
I got a 31 for perception.
Wow.
What?
It's
All right.
almost a nat 20. I'm very close.
You do find a butchery. That
I'll lead him there, but I in my mind I'm like he probably wants a live meal.
you do find a butchery. Upon like entering the space too, there you find a variety of like different salted meats and stuff.
I'll collect some and put them in my bag to replenish my dwindling supply.
While you
He's
are
he's he's eaten through half of my supply already.
while you're doing this, you see him kind of slip into a back room, and before hearing several crashes and clangs, And upon investigating, you find that he has acquired himself a very large, kind of, pretty much the equivalent of like a cow torso. You don't know what meat it is, but he is feeding off of this thing. And he seems quite content with it being dead already.
All right. I'll let him eat. I'll collect whatever salted meat they have in here. Do they have any other items in it? Do they have? So you know how meats are usually strung up on hooks.
Yeah, there's a couple of meat hooks. That's what the big torso was. It was on a hook. That's why it crashed when it fell, because he busted the hook.
Is there any rope around here as well?
I'd say you'd be able to find like 3 50-foot strands of rope.
Okay, I'll collect the rope and I'll grab some hooks while I'm at it.
Okay.
I have
I would say you'd be able to get like 4 hooks.
4 hooks.
Mhm.
4 hooks, and then how
But
many?
meat
You
hooks.
said 3
specifically.
50-foot ropes as
Yes.
well. Okay, I'll grab those, and then I'll come over. Is the meat? You said the meat salted?
Most of it is. The
Okay.
thing that he's feeding off of is not. It looked like it was starting to go bad, but he doesn't care.
I'm gonna, while he's eating, I'm gonna come over and pet him. I don't know. You know how like when you get like a new animal or something, they usually aren't very comfortable with you touching them while they're eating. I'm trying to figure out how comfortable he is.
Animal handling. I know what you're talking about because I would do this with a
Okay.
dog.
This is where you might lose an arm.
Yeah,
Because
no,
I've had
agree.
I've had a dog snap at me because I tried to do this.
You are touching a wild wolf with an anger problem while it is eating.
Well, lucky
This
for
is
you,
where you might lose an arm.
Magnus, I got a 15 plus my 4 is a 19.
Okay.
It.
It kind of, as you kind of come up, it kind of growls a bit and kind of eyeballs you. It does not show any other aggressive action towards you. You do manage to touch it, and it kind of seizes up for a moment, like stiffening, kind of holding itself in place as it kind of
Yeah.
waits to see what you're gonna do. After about like a very awkward like 2 or 3 minutes of this, it finally goes back to eating, but it keeps like darting looks towards you as it's doing it.
All right. Okay, cool. That's all I really wanted to do is just show it that I'm not an asshole.
Okay.
Do it.
After collecting the meat, or I'm gonna wait for it to keep eating. I guess I'll wait until it's full, and then I'll just be sitting out in the front half of the deli place. I'm just kind of scouring through whatever else is there. Is there God, is there what other items are here? Salt, anything like that?
I would say like you would call it like preserving salt.
Okay.
And it would be
Nothing
you would be able to probably collect enough to maybe preserve like 10 days worth of rations.
Okay. All right. I'll pick that up as well, and I'll put it into my bag of holding. So all of this is going into my bag of holding.
Okay. It's probably a good 30 minutes of him feeding off of this, and he cleans off a decent portion of this carcass. It's probably like a third of it is left, and this thing was like fairly large.
Damn, so he's feasting right now.
Yeah, he's eating happily. But he does finish.
Okay.
He does kind of stroll back out of this back room to where you're sitting, and kind of like bumps
is there
against
anything
you.
is there anything that I can make like a collar out of, or
You
is
have
there any
rope.
dyes, anything like that?
You have rope.
That's the best I could do. There's no like meat dye or anything like that.
Looking about, you do know there's like 1 or 2 places that like probably has fabrics and leathers that you could attempt something, but you don't know if you have the skills to make something with that material.
Okay. Is there any potion shops that I saw along the way, or anything that would have items to make potions?
No, because you guys checked the night before and you didn't find anything.
Okay. Where am I in reference to the inn that we were staying at and to the church? Am I like midway? Am I out a little farther?
You're down the road from the inn, or the tavern.
Um,
It's like a good 300 feet down the road.
I'm going to go outside with the Ripper. I'm going to attempt to teach him some commands and also his name.
Animal handling.
Okay. Straight, no advantage, disadvantage, none of that.
Nothing.
Okay. That was a 16.
Okay. You do a bit of training, and around the time that like the others do end up coming out, he's got a recognition for the name. He
Okay.
does kind of glance in your direction when you do say the name. You're not sure how much it has stuck, but it's definitely there.
Okay.
I apologize.
I'll give him a piece of the meat as a reward for training.
I would say you would have to use a piece of the meat in order to actually, like, you would have been tearing chunks of meat out to do this.
Okay. Okay. I didn't know if that was implied or what, but I just wanted to clarify.
When training a dog or any beast of any kind, food is generally required.
When taming a large wolf with canines the size of Errol's arm, I would assume.
But yes,
All right.
he does have a slight recognition for his name.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna be like petting him, just chatting with the dog, and be like, "You're a good boy. Look at you. How you doing, Toothless?" That kind of crap. I guess I'm just waiting for the rest of the party to come out.
Yeah,
I'll
so,
take him
like,
with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as you finish this, like the other party has kind of come out.
Okay. Yeah, they're coming out. I'm sticking near him while, like, I'm assuming with Errol's passive perception, you can see them coming out. He's gonna stay nearby.
Okay, yeah. So the rest of the party that hasn't seen him, and Draka, you would be on the roof nearby. You would be awake by this time, because I'm not even going to ask you when you get up. The sun would have woken you up, and you would have just been sitting up there. I know that much. You do see the rest of the party exiting the tavern.
Yep.
Yep, and you do. I assume you do nothing about this.
Correct.
Awesome. Cool. Journey, you do notice down the road you see Errol and Toothless making their way down the road towards you all. And as the rest of the party kind of also notices this, you see Cal kind of stiffen up a little bit and Trinket kind of put herself behind him, kind of glance around him towards the Ripper.
Am I within earshot at this point?
You'd be like 60 feet by this point.
I'm just gonna yell out, "Good morning, everyone!"
Good morning. It's the mighty beast you got there.
Yeah, this is my new friend, Toothless.
Toothless. What a fitting name.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. He seems comfortable with me, but I think he's gonna take a little bit of more like warming up to the rest of the party.
You do. He does seem to kind of stiffen up a little bit around them. Doesn't seem to be hostile in any way, but he does seem more cautious.
I wonder if he likes music.
Well, if introductions are out of the way, I think it's time we make our way to the church and face the music.
Just said that word.
I agree with that.
Yes, you did.
Errol's gonna toss Journey a piece of meat to feed Toothless with.
I'll try feeding him again.
Toothless sees this and gets like mildly excited. He is full, but he's like, yeah, I could do with some more. That
Do
kind
what
of.
I do with my new dog, and Journey will kind of like have it kind of in the palm of her hand. So if he does kind of bite, she can easily kind of like slide her hand away.
Animal handling. With advantage, because Errol is there.
I will make this the fucking party animal. I don't give a
15.
shit.
Okay, nat 20, so 23.
Let's go.
You have never had an animal take anything from you so gently in your life.
I kind of scritch him behind the ear, gently.
And he happily takes it as he munches down on this piece of meat. He kind of leans into it a little bit too.
Thank you, Tufus.
I
Bite my hand off, because I still have that thing where he can comprehend my language,
Yeah.
because that lasts like an hour.
I tell Errol, yo, next time I want to go next time.
He's a little full right now. I've been training him, but maybe later in the evening. I want him to warm up to the rest of the party, so he's like
Gosh.
an extra member. He's part of the family.
Let's go.
Is that what
Oh,
your character
man.
says?
I have so many
No, my
plans
character's
with
gonna be
you.
like, yo, shit, hold on. Character's gonna be like, I'm not gonna be scared with him watching my back. As long
You
as he
should be
doesn't
scared of
eat it.
him taking your back, but
Well, I mean, that's true. I guess we'll hopefully he'll like me. I don't know. We'll see. Guess.
hopefully.
So to Magnus then.
All right, to Magnus.
All right.
Speaking of someone he might not like.
You all travel to the church, finding Sins sitting out front. He doesn't necessarily look tired, but he does look bored out of his mind. He's kind of sitting there with his hammer on the step below him, kind of leaning against the shaft of it, almost, and staring off into the middle distance. Which you've never seen him like this. Every time you've seen him, he's always very attentive and doing stuff. This is the first time you've seen him just kind of shooting the shit type deal.
What's up with doom and gloom here?
He kind of lifts his head a little bit and kind of turns and just says, "What's with the dog?"
You wanna? I mean, he's yours, Errol.
All right.
All right.
Oh wait, are we supposed? Is he talking or?
Yeah, that's why Sin said, "What's with the dog?"
Oh, my
As
bad.
comprehensive as ever, Errol. Good job.
I'm busy. I was gonna be like, this is my new friend, Toothless.
He kind of tilts his head slightly as he kind of gets to his feet. Just says, "Odd name, but I've heard worse."
I
Probably a
picked
lot
it.
worse. It's
I
a pretty
picked it
good name.
because it'd be funny. You know, the last thing people hear is "Go get him, Toothless," and then this giant wolf with massive teeth comes at them.
Not sure I'm comfortable introducing him to Boltian just yet, but hopefully the two will get along eventually.
Oh, that would be amazing! And then Trinket's pet as well, the little bird. What's its name?
I don't remember what name I gave him.
Well, whatever name you gave her familiar, he didn't seem to care for it.
Yeah, because he was like, damn, it's my new name now. All right, cool. Don't wear it out. You know what I'm saying?
Errol's gonna look back over and go, "Is Magnus inside?"
Yes, he's in the back room.
Have you heard? Has he spoken to you?
He did briefly. Don't be surprised if he looks different.
Different how?
Is he mourning the loss of his sister?
He may have made a few
No.
deals in the night, and she's currently resting.
He
What do
did
you mean? She's
what?
Yeah.
Like 6 feet under.
It would
Peacefully?
be easier to see yourself. He kind of throws his hammer over his shoulder and kind of starts walking into the church.
While we're walking up, Errol's going to turn to Journey and go, if he has broken the natural law of this world, that's going to be an issue.
I agree.
What just
Especially if he's been making deals with someone significantly unsavory.
let's just see what's happened before we pass judgment. But if it is what I think it is, then I'm disturbed.
Errol's going to tell Toothless to sit at the door.
Animal handling check.
Advantage or regular?
Regular. Actually, disadvantage because this is your
Regular.
first time doing a command. Disadvantage.
All
Everything
right,
else
an
is
18. The other one was a nat 20, and I have a witness here.
wow. All right.
I have a witness, goddammit.
I have a
Witness,
witness.
is it loud Isabella again?
No, it's not Isabella, it's Mackenzie.
Ah,
How many women do you know?
One of them is my sister. Hold your tongue, boy.
All right, fair enough. Let's continue. um, he sits down.
I'll give him a piece of meat as a reward.
It's a small piece. Yeah, just
Yeah.
kind of give it to him.
hey, I want it next.
He
Errol's
just
just gonna
kind of
Errol's
sits
gonna
there
give you like
and
a shush finger.
Probably best that we do that in a controlled, calm environment, Leo.
I'm calm.
and after you kind of walk off, he does kind of lay down on the steps,
Storm
and he's
myself.
kind of like. Have you seen the video of, like, the husky on the steps with his like paws hanging off? They're kind of bouncing. It's kind of doing one of
Yeah.
those things.
Nice.
Gotta
Oh,
say,
I
Earl, I
love
like
that.
your dog.
I love this. I love this Ripper.
I have been debating on the personality of this Ripper for 2 weeks, and I am so happy what I picked.
You should teach him to do a high five. And then
Oh, I wanted to learn
do
shit. I
yeah.
wanted, you know, the dog from like Dark Souls, where he has the sword in his mouth.
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
I want him to get to.
Me the one
Oh,
that you
dear
have
God.
to fucking murder.
What? What'd you say?
That boss is so sad, though. Like, you have to kill the dog.
You have to fucking kill a dog.
I know, but we're not killing him. If you touch my goddamn Ripper, I will slit your throats in game. I don't give a fuck.
Magnus already has a pet Ripper. They're just probably with his dad.
That is true. All right.
We digress.
We digress. He's cute.
So-
That's what we concluded.
Oofless.
Okay. Continue. You all enter the cathedral, kind of following Sins to the back. Magnus, you hear a slight kind of knock on the door before Sins kind of pushes in and just says, "The others are here."
All right.
And kind of steps back and kind of does like a head gesture, kind of moves his head in a way to like be like, "Go in if you want." Are you guys moving in?
We go in. Errol's walking in.
Yeah, I'll enter with Errol.
I will
see-
also enter.
Okay, you see within the space the same kind of like messed up room from before, but now instead of the four withered bodies on the ground, you see on the bed the priestess. A similar individual to Magnus, but dressed in the kind of nice, kind of religious garb of this church. She appears to be a bit paler than what you would think a Goliath would look like, and she does seem to be in a deep kind of sleep.
Errol's gonna ready a dagger and go, "Who the hell is that? Magnus, where are you?"
Oh, Magnus is also in the room.
Sitting
Yeah,
next
Magnus
to
is sitting next to him. Sorry.
he
I didn't
said
specify
Magnus
that.
is sitting,
You also
like,
see Magnus
next
sitting
to
next
the
to him.
bed. He's like
Okay,
Magnus
okay,
is sitting
and-
next to the bed, elbows on knees, just like staring at her face.
Instead of unsheathing, he's just gonna kind of like put a hand on the dagger and go, "Magnus, what is that?"
It's my sister.
Your sister's dead. So what is that?
My sister was a priestess of the Prince of the Dead. Any price is worth paying for family.
What have you done to yourself?
I
Magnus.
prostrated myself in front of the gods that forsake us for my own blood.
That's you have broken the natural order of this world.
The natural order is the strong survive, and there is no one stronger than her.
Then
Your
why did
sister
she
didn't
perish?
survive. That's why she was dead.
Whoever poisoned that well was the one to break the rules of this world. I just righted it.
Says the man who lost part of himself.
You lose a part of yourself every time you kill someone. I lost myself a long time ago, child. I'm not
Errol's
losing her too.
Errol's gonna sheath his dagger and slowly make his way towards Magnus and go, I understand losing a loved one. Trust me. But this is that is not your sister. That is something in its place. Your sister's was meant to be mourned over, not to be resurrected by some entity.
Magnus just very slowly looks at Errol. It's just, I have been dragged from the dead 3 times by my own mother. You do not know what you speak of, bird.
Are you saying I don't know loss, Raider? I held my family in the burning town after my village had been slaughtered and pillaged.
You say that she is not my sister, then you say I am not Magnus.
That before you is not your sister. Whatever that is something concocted from a contract of a creature who does not want any
Then
good
so
in
am
the
I.
world. What are you? You are Magnus, and to
No.
what that is has yet
Because
to be.
I have been brought back the same exact way.
No, you have been brought back whole. That is not whole.
She is injured.
She was dead. Injured was the
In
least
my
of
family, that is an injury.
maybe in your family, but in the grand scheme of how this world works,
Fuck the grand scheme of things. Fuck the natural law of everything. I will rip and tear to the heart's content if the gods told me to. But they fucked with the one thing that should not be touched. And that is someone better than me. The one person in this fucking world who doesn't deserve death.
no one can escape death. It is a balance to this world. Without it, it would be simple chaos. You understand that, don't you?
We're in a land of chaos, bird.
No, we're in a land of mayhem. It is teetering on the edge of chaos, and yet you strive to bring it farther into the world of unbalance.
You claim to have your sister back. Do you still desire revenge upon the one who did this to her?
Everything has its time.
Magnus, what have you done? What contracts have you signed? How much of your soul have you lost bringing back your loved one?
Do you really think that a soul is so special that you can just drip away at it until it is gone, until nothing is there left? A soul is nothing but a bargaining chip given to you when you are born. It's currency. That's it. It's just
You
another thing you keep in your wallet.
My religion, it's exactly that. A block of marble that you chip away at until you become the person you're meant to be. But your religion is not my own.
What you see as unnatural in my people, in my religion, it's sainthood. To actually be touched by the things you worship.
So you would bring your sister back to experience death twice. That is a pain I want to bring upon my worst enemy.
I will forgive you for your ignorance, as you have not grown up in this world as I have.
Do you
But
want to tell me I'm ignorant, boy? I've seen what your kind is capable of and lived through it and fought through it.
you see only a piece of what we are.
But I know what you're capable of. So why have you done this?
If you know what I'm capable of, then why are you questioning me, bird?
You bird. I'm not a bird. I'm a fucking owl. Keep calling me that, raider scum. We're gonna have a problem.
Yes, perhaps we should not speak of the natural order of things to Magnus here. Bruno is the enemy of the natural order, just like Nemo. Such talking points will not convince him.
Do you have a problem with me, Magnus, and me questioning?
I have a problem with you questioning that my sister is alive.
Your sister was dead and therefore shouldn't be alive, and yet here she lays on the bed.
And what is the difference to me? Because the body you look at has been a corpse far more times than hers.
Yes, and yet the thing that inhabits her body may not necessarily be her. That is what I question.
How many times have you been brought back changed? How do you know that's still the same sister you should have buried?
We don't bury our dead here.
Clearly.
We burn them. My pyre should have been alight long before hers. I will not break that promise.
Again, Magnus, what makes you think that the entity that is
I
within
will not break
body is
that
her?
promise, owl.
What fucking promise? And Errol unsheaths one of the daggers.
I die before her. No matter what, it will always be my life before hers, because I deserve it, not her. Me.
When will that end if you keep bringing yourself back?
That's the point. As long as I'm here, she doesn't go.
That's not how things were supposed to play out, though. We do not decide what happens in this world. That is a power beyond ours.
This world hates us.
Then
We
maybe you
take
should look at
control
your
of what we
actions.
can, and this is something I can control.
Not everything is about control. At some point, you need to release and just observe. Otherwise, you'll be attempting to fight the river, but that isn't possible.
You can kill a river if you give enough time to it.
You could kill a river and it will go elsewhere, but the river will never truly die. You will just have stopped it at one point. Magnus, I was willing to look past your raider history and see you as a different person from the rest, but so far your actions are not.
My actions are that of a brother. Nothing more and nothing less.
No, your actions are that of a child desperately grasping to what they have and not accepting what can be.
The lack of conviction is simply a sign of weakness.
Do not
Promise.
lecture me on a lack of conviction. Do you think I wouldn't have brought back my family if it was possible?
I don't question your choices. I do not tell you that your choices are wrong nor right. I do not judge your culture. But my convictions and my promises state that this is what I do. And so I have done it.
I will hold no. I will not tell you your actions are wrong, however. I'm concerned for where you're heading as a friend.
Magnus, what do you intend to do now?
Since she's not dead, there's no one to get a revenge on. Is that correct?
If she's not dead, then she can muster the army.
I need to get her to Bloodkeep. I need Feda to watch over her. She's the only one who understands her like I do.
Errol's gonna sheath the dagger and go over to Magnus. Place a hand. Can I? Would I get injured placing a hand on him?
Do you place
Actually, I
a
don't
hand
give
on
a
him?
fuck. Errol places a hand on him and go, I will help you in your cause solely because this is what we came here for.
As you do that, your hand does burn. I'm trying to give myself a memory jog on how much it will burn for.
Yeah, just Magnus is just like, it's best not to do that.
Errol he's gonna continue holding his hand while being burned.
Errol,
Or
you will
holding his
take.
burning.
You take 9 points of acid damage
Yeah.
as the feathers all dissolve on your hand.
Still holding a hand on him, going, do not take us down the wrong path. Some of us.
I promised to take you to the monastery. That is on the way to Bloodkeep. Maybe then you'll learn something.
I have learned a lot in my time. However,
Obviously not enough.
I have accepted that the knowledge that I could gain is limitless. So I am willing to learn from your kind. However, please, for the sake of not myself, but the rest of the group, do not lead us down a path of pointless death.
The only path that you take is yours. I did not ask you to follow me. I do not tell you to. I simply say where I am going. If you do not like this path, even though I may not know where it leads, there is no reason not to leave now.
Errol, con save, and
Con
24
save.
points of acid.
Oof. That's a lot of acid damage.
You've been
God damn.
You've been holding for an extensive amount of time.
Okay. Oh fuck! Con save 5.
You are poisoned.
Arrow's just gonna cough with this poison and go. We will see what the future has yet to hold. And I'm gonna use my monk ability to get rid of that. It's
Okay.
fucking side effect. So I'll spend a key point.
You take your hand off of him, or are you keeping it on him?
Yeah, I'll take a hand off.
You can see the bone in parts of your hand.
And go. I look up at Magnus and go. We shake on this as a pact. Do you offer blood for blood? And I hold up a dagger.
I do not know what your contract is.
Magnus hates his contracts.
To journey with until our goals are achieved.
I promise to take you to the monastery. Are you ready to leave?
If that requires this instant, then yes. And Errol finds some cloth in his bag and wraps his hand.
You see Cal, as you're looking for this cloth, kind of wedges his way through everyone. And he pretty much grabs your hand and heals you for 21 points of acid. Or heals you for 21 points of health. So, reverting most of the acid damage, so most of the flesh comes back. The feathers are still not there.
Is Tyler, is Magnus able to suppress this?
No.
All right, then like he just kind of looks over at Sins and just watch her. I need to get ready for transport. And he's gonna find like a linens shop or something.
Okay. That's
Errol,
not hard.
Errol kind of heads down, just says, we've already scoured this area. Not much remains. It seems others have come through here.
What I need is simple. Something to make sure control is kept.
Do
We
not
stayed in
mind.
it. We stayed in an inn last night. If you're looking for linens,
I just need cloth. That's it.
you'll find plenty there.
Yeah.
Take no mind to the Ripper outside. It is my companion. If you wish for him to become friendly with you, take this. And Errol offers him a piece of meat.
Damn, him before me.
Magnus just kind of like waves the meat away and it's just, do you want to learn something?
What do you have to offer?
Follow. And like he's gonna stand still inside the church, but he's gonna go to that larger room. And I mean, he grew up surrounded with rippers, so like he's for real just going to like cup his hands in a way and do a ripper howl, just the kind that alphas would do to call for their pack.
Okay.
Can you summon an alpha like that?
Errol will copy that until he's matching it.
You find it a little bit... Actually... I'm gonna
What check
say...
do I need to make, Tyler?
I'm gonna say... Let's have you roll... Oh, what would be a wonderful check? Performance is one
Performance?
idea.
Yeah.
Nature's the other.
Which one of us?
Him.
No, because Magnus was for real gonna call for that ripper.
It doesn't come when you do it, but he's gonna try to recreate the noise. Is pretty much what he's doing. Performance or nature?
I picked performance and I got an 18. It was a 17 originally, and then plus my 1.
You're fairly close. There's it's not perfect, but it is very close. You do see from the doorway the Toothless almost kind of peek in for a moment, almost curious, but he doesn't seem to be coming to that noise.
Errol's just gonna go to Toothless. Scratch him behind the ear as
I-
reward.
Can I
What's that?
attempt mimicking the call?
Also
Yeah.
want to making the call.
Performance.
24.
24. You. It's
15.
perfect. You said 16?
15.
15. Leo, yours it's decent. It's not super great, but it is decent. Journey, yours is spot on. And you see Toothless his ears kind of perk up a little bit, but he doesn't, and he kind of like looks in the direction of the sound, but doesn't try to move towards it in any kind of way.
Now that Magnus can see Toothless, can he like gauge its age?
It looks to be older, but it's older in the sense that it looks to be experienced. It has a couple like scars across it, but it also seems to be young enough that it's not extremely stubborn. It's I guess you could say it is malleable, where it's able to be like trained type deal.
Hmm.
It's of that age,
Yeah.
like it's exiting the point of being trained, but it is young enough that it still could be trained.
All right, fair. Magnus is just gonna go find like a tailor shop, something like that. He just needs lengths of cloth.
Yeah, that's not hard. You'd be able to find cloth. Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be easy.
He's for real just gonna like wrap his torso and his arms in this cloth.
You do find that a lot of the cloth burns through, not fairly quickly, but it does burn through with time. As your skin has this sort of layer to it that seems to produce kind of the acidic. It's like an acidic film almost that's like on your skin type deal. Looking about
Errol?
though, you do find there are some tougher cloths that they soak it, but like they get soaked by it, but they don't necessarily burn through really quick. They're just kind of like caked in this acidic mucus of sorts.
I was gonna go look for either jars, oil, or gunpowder.
You searched for those the night before. You only found
No.
3 jars.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, it's been a minute.
Yeah, I got you. It's been 2 weeks. I remember telling you specifically that though, so I don't have that as a note. I just remember that moment.
Okay.
Errol, can I feed Toothless?
He's gonna turn to Toothless and go, "Are you hungry, boy?"
It just kind of stares at you.
I'm gonna pull out a piece of meat. See what his reaction is.
It's that kind of mild excitement of like, yeah, I could eat more, even though I probably shouldn't. This thing seems to have like the mentality of like a lab, where it's like they'll
Yeah.
just keep eating until they're sick.
Errol, I'm just gonna look at you, Leobardo, and I just feel like I think we should hold off. He's kind of full. He had a whole
Yeah,
cart
I
this
agree.
morning.
I agree.
Okay.
Got a whole quarter staff I can put the meat on though to protect myself, but
I'm just gonna sit with the Ripper or with Toothless and just pet him.
He kind of just takes it. He enjoys the skirches.
Do I find any sweet spots? Does it like behind the ear?
Animal
I'm assuming
handling.
belly is
I like to make you roll these animal handling checks because it's really going to show how in tune you are with this beast.
I got a nat 20. So 24 in total.
It is the easiest. You pretty much find there's a sweet spot like a little bit like above the ear and down the back of the neck a little bit. Kind of where like the scruff is when you get like deep into it.
Mm-hmm.
And you do find one as well kind of like along the edge of the belly. He kind of rolls over at one point while you are sitting here waiting for Magnus. And Draka, you can see this from a distance.
Cool.
Lizard man don't say a word. He just kind of chilling, watching this stuff happen.
Oh. I don't know how long Magnus is gone. I'm gonna try to meditate.
Okay. It's probably like a good 30 minutes, so you'd probably be able to take part of the time and meditate. What are you trying to achieve out of this?
I'm gonna see if there's anyone out there looking for me.
Are you using the ring? Is that what you're doing?
Well, the ring, what? The ring would be I'm looking like directly around me. I'm seeing if anyone's trying to contact me.
So, if you're using the ring,
I don't know how the ring fully works, by the way.
are you trying to use the ring based on what you know?
Sure, I'll use. Oh, fuck it, I'll use the ring.
Okay, Errol. You focus upon this ring for a moment, and upon kind of activating it, what color was it? Did I say were the gems on it?
Emerald.
Emeralds.
Oh no, sorry. The eyes were sapphire. The rest of it's
Sapphires.
platinum.
Okay, sapphire. That I needed that bit of information. While you are sitting there, kind of focusing, do you meditate with your eyes closed?
Yeah.
Okay. While your eyes are closed, you're sitting there and you feel the power of the ring kind of shift a little bit, and there's a pause before you hear a voice that just kind of clears its throat at you.
So, hello. Who is this?
Well, if you'd opened your eyes, you would see.
Earl's gonna open his eyes.
You see a small, kind of, probably about 2 foot long, like serpent, like draconic serpent of sorts, kind of floating in the air in front of you. By the way, none of you can see this. This is only him. So you just hear him. You can only hear Errol. The other half of the conversation, the rest of the party cannot hear.
So what are you?
I am the serpent of the ring that you found. Much smaller than the last individual who had it. Don't seem to be much. Kind of like looking over you, kind of like judgmentally.
So are you looking down upon me, serpent? So I've seen large serpents if we're comparing size.
Well, I may not be much myself, but I am significantly more useful than most of the things you've probably encountered in your time.
How so?
You see it kind of shift over, and you watch as it like passes through your friends without them even noticing, as well as going through the wall of the church and then reappearing next to you from underneath the ground.
Nifty trick you got there, friend.
It's because I'm not of this plane, so I may pass around as I please. And only you can see me. So, I can get around without being noticed by anyone, unless, of course, they have true sight. And then things get a little bit messy.
Were you alive in your past?
I am alive now.
Oh, I meant were you on this plane in your
No,
past?
I've always been here in the ethereal.
Hmm. I got old a friend. He is old. Gifted me this ring so it can help me see those that might be coming. I guess that's what you're here for.
Yes, I can be used for scouting or peeking in on others, and then I can simply report back what I see.
What else can you be used for?
Unfortunately, that's about the extent, as I can't physically interact with anything of your plane.
Ah, that's good enough.
As I said, better than most things. And it kind of has this like prideful kind of grin on its face.
What shall I call you?
What would you like to call me? Because I don't have much use of names here in the ethereal.
I'll have to think about that. I'm not the best at naming.
Well, take your time. You have my ring, and you can call upon me when needed.
Would you
I
be
wrote.
so kind as to check the surrounding? I'm not necessarily sure that we're fully alone here, but safe than sorry. I am being hunted by a large dragon, so to speak.
Ah, a man of trouble. This relationship may not last long depending on what you do next. You watch as it kind of swiftly kind of shoots off, kind of disappears into like a building nearby. About a minute or two passes, and it comes back and it just says, "There's a lizard man on the roof of one of the buildings over yonder," and kind of gestures back towards the inn. And you do actually see kind of Andraka sitting there. It says, "He's the only one that I could spot."
Arrow's just gonna kind of chuckle to himself and like, yeah, he's no dragon, but good enough.
Well, if you need me again, you know how to call me. And you watch as it kind of spins into like almost like spinning to produce like a ring shape and then kind of fades out of existence.
Okay. All right, that's all I'm really gonna do. I'm gonna hit the bathroom real quick.
Okay.
Make you bleed.
What?
Magnus is gonna find Cal.
Okay. Cal is not hard to find. He's sitting in the. He's kind of within the cathedral upon like a half broken kind of pew, kind of shuffling his cards in his hand.
Yeah, he'd just look over at him and just, I need to speak to you. Follow, please.
Oh. All right.
And he'd go back to like that back room with his sister, and just like if anyone's in there, he'd send them away for some privacy.
So you do find Sins in there, but he walks out the moment you kind of come in. He kind of makes his way out.
Yeah. And Magnus just looks at Cal and just, is there something about her that I don't know about?
I can attempt to look into it.
The way he reacted, it was almost as if they know something.
Well,
Is there something about her that I do not know?
give me a moment. And he kind of walks over and kind of, with his deck in one hand, kind of places a hand at like the foot of the bed for a moment before kind of moving around his cards. And you do watch as he's doing this, without him noticing, one of the cards slips out of the deck and kind of floats about an inch above like the foot of the bed, and it's just spinning. And it's spinning. And he hasn't noticed this as it's happening. He's busy shuffling through the deck as he's kind of waving his hand over the deck as he normally does.
Is that card face up?
It is face up. From what you can see, it looks like on one side of the card there seems to be an unmarked gravestone, and on the other there seems to be a light. It's kind of like you see what you believe to be a firbolg walking through some sort of forest, but it's hard to tell due to the speed of which this thing is spinning, and it seems to be getting faster and faster as it sits there and spins.
What does this one mean?
And you see him stop and kind of pause as he placed, like right as he placed a hand on a card, and he looks down at it, and he looks extremely confused before reaching down to it, and as his hand kind of gets in range of it, it stops. And he picks it up, and he looks over the card, and he says, "The grave and the living. I've never seen a card spin before. This is strange." And he kind of lowers the card back down to where it was, and it returns to spinning again. And he kind of watches it. He says, "There has to be some sort of teetering effect or something that's locking this card into a loop."
She's a priestess of undeath. She devoted her life to a demon who's known for necromancy. That's the one that brought her back. That's the one I dealt with. One would only assume that such a dedicated priestess, and they would not find any reason to malform her.
I see. And he kind of reaches a hand over the deck again and pulls out a card and seems to cast Mage Hand to keep the card floating above the bed as he's doing this. And the first card he pulls, you see on the top of the card, it looks to be a mirror of like how most of the cards are. The card that is the side that is the top looks to be blood dripping into a pool, while below there's water. As he just kind of puts that card down, he just says, "I don't think this one needs much of an explanation, as the past did involve quite a bit of blood." He reaches into the deck again and begins to shuffle about. And as he kind of pulls his hand away, he comes out empty-handed. And he pauses for a moment, and then he looks down at the card that was spinning. He says, I seem to have already drawn the card of the present. What does the future hold?" And he pulls from the deck one last time, and you see a card on this card looks to have almost depicting a hole of the fabric of reality, this blackened abyss where nothing is found as like depicted in the center of the card. The reality around it seeming to wither away, and this card almost seems animated, as if this void is slowly growing as he's holding the card in hand. He kind of clenches his jaw. He says, "This is not a good omen, but it also doesn't mean it's bad. I have no sight of a future, though, which is normally would be strange, but this may be an exception." Kind of slowly recollects the cards.
Due to your nature, what you are able to do, and what knowledge you must pertain because of the first two points if you say that her resurrection endangers this reality. I'll personally deal with it. But you must not lie to me, because this is someone that I would not simply die for, but I would suffer in the 9 rings of the hells till the end of everything for.
Before I answer that, what is it that you gave up to get her back?
Orcus was the only one to ask for a piece of my soul. The rest, maybe they're waiting for something, or maybe they think I'll do whatever I do will please them.
He kind of slides the grave and the living card out of the deck again and lets it spin on the tip of his finger. He says, that would explain the teetering between the grave and the living. Not quite a full person, yet not quite dead. But something in between. To be honest, I'm not sure what to think of it. I've come across countless situations, not like this, but dire ones, of plagues and destruction, families being torn apart, and loved ones being lost. Though I've never seen someone with half a soul. So I'm not entirely sure what this will cause, as the cards don't really show me what it will bring.
I don't know why she would be the one to go. This is why I only listen to fate. Well, no. Those are the wrong words. The work of a soothsayer is important. That's why I don't complain that you're around. Fate is a painful thing. But knowing what it is, it lets you suffer just a little bit less.
Kind of, for a moment, like, shifts almost to put a hand on your shoulder before kind of pulling himself back, remembering what had happened to Errol. Just kind of pauses for a moment. And the fear that was present on him, that you could tell, the kind of like subtle fear of a sudden snapping or like possibly being in danger if you were to get angry, kind of fades to this dead seriousness. And he says, whatever fate may bring, I'm here to supply any hope for it to work out.
Along with a piece of my soul, I gave up my ability to hug my own sister with whatever this is. That's a problem with my religion. Sainthood doesn't exactly tell you what you're getting.
Neither does hope. Hope is not always pleasant.
Cal, I am going to ask you something very important, because you are the only one here who I believe holds the compassion to do so without endangering my trust. I can't carry my sister to the rest of my family. And the others have already shown that they do not trust resurrection. I am asking you if you are able and willing to do it for me.
He kind of glances towards her, pausing for a moment, and glances back, and gives you a very subtle nod. He says, "If it's what needs to be done."
I know that because of my history and my actions and the opinions of those around me, that everyone here most likely expects me to lose myself to anger. But maybe you will understand. Anger is saved for those deserving. And I have seen too many people hurt by the misuse of it to believe that anything like what any of you can do or say is deserving actual wrath.
He kind of clenches his jaw a little bit. Gives another very kind of slow nod. Kind of sits there.
Suffice. Just perhaps you're the only one who is able to believe that I'm not the monster everyone assumes I am. And
Would
Magnus is just gonna leave and get ready to travel.
would Errol have heard any of this while using the ring?
No. Because this would have
Damn.
been after the ring. He would have come back after you'd used the ring.
Okay. Would I have heard it with my passive perception?
No, because you guys are outside of the church. He is in the back.
I'm just trying.
But as you do that, he preps the priestess to be moved elsewhere, kind of recruiting Sins to help a little bit. What are the rest of you doing? Why we prepared to leave town?
Errol's gonna go back into the church.
Okay.
What was Journey doing?
She stayed in the main area of the church.
Yeah, I'm just chilling in the main area. I don't really have anything to do, so.
Okay, so you guys are off to the side, like near the door. You do see Magnus come out of the chamber without Cal. And you see Sins kind of slip back into the back chamber immediately after Magnus kind of walks off.
Is your sister ready to journey?
Yes,
Does she need to be carried?
she will be. Don't worry.
Yes.
I could attach a rope to the Ripper, and maybe we could try and pull her that way.
Don't worry.
Magnus,
If it needs to be done, it will be asked. Journey, what?
walk with me, will you?
Walk
Fine.
with me.
Kind of like
What is
walking.
it?
Errol's gonna go back outside to the Ripper. and just do I think I have a sharpening stone. I'm just gonna sit there and just sharpen my knives.
Okay.
I seemed adversarial earlier, and that's just my duty as part of my faith towards, well, that sort of business. But I am happy for you that you've managed to reclaim your sister from the cold grasp of death.
I promised a raiding party to go to a war zone and help your country. You don't
Great.
need to pretend to like me just so it'll happen.
Get over yourself. I do like you, Magnus. I'm just worried for you, so.
Worry.
But I wasn't going to tell you this, but in fact, we'd all basically agreed not to tell you this. But, well, given how you're prioritizing your sister over everything else, what you've said, I think it's the right thing to do. We have some information on who killed her. Before we arrived, there was a Goliath paladin, a servant of the dark. He was the master of the bloodhound we fought. He killed your sister and everyone else in town. Are you familiar with this individual?
I do not know.
It's been a random act of violence, but he was being tracked by three. Arrow and I encountered the trio scavenging before they departed. For the Outlands, that's where they think.
Walk away for a moment.
That's where they think this paladin fled to after departing, leaving his beast behind.
Well,
We were unsure of what you would do with your sister's death, but now that you've brought her back and, well, you're taking her there, well, I figured you deserved to know. We were planning on keeping it from you as like bargaining chip, or had you, well, given in, but, well, you seem to realize what you've done and the cost of what you've done. So I think you deserve to know. Now,
everything has its time.
you may not stay there. You know that, and I know that, but I suppose your sister does come first.
Yeah.
We're afraid we're not ready to take him on. Trinket and I almost died to his beast.
There's so much to do.
And so little time.
I keep telling you that we will go to help your country, but I keep having to remember that so far away from there is my own mother kidnapped. It seems that the only person in my family who may even be alive at this point is somebody I had to drag from the underworld myself. A
Seems
war.
your soul. Perhaps it's not her, but her as you imagined her to be.
No. She served the creature that brought her back. She devoted her life to it. Demons are evil, but they're intelligent. Why would it corrupt its best worshipper?
Do what I can to keep her comfortable on the trip over.
I've asked Cal to worry about her. You all are already busy.
Magnus, I'm a goddamn healer. It's my job to do that.
And so is his. You worry about us. We're the first to deal with blades, and arrows, and claws, and fangs. She just needs someone to keep her fed.
Okay. Will she ever be whole again? Will you ever be whole again?
There's no such thing as that around here.
I see.
You know what you lose when you take a life. Everyone here loses a lot more than that. Why do you think we serve demons?
Try not to lose yourself to your demons.
Yeah. I've already done that.
Not yet.
No. Once I've done what I need to do, my axe is going to be turned on myself.
And what is it you need to do?
I need to make sure my mother's safe. I need to ship. I need to send fighters to your war. Perhaps I'll even go and help.
Magnus, I pledged myself to help rescue your mother. It's the least I could do.
3 things. My mother, a war, and revenge. And then I'm gonna see someone in Frostheim. And then I'm gonna go to sleep for a very long time.
This time, do you speak of the tabaxi lizard?
No.
And where does she rank on your priorities?
Well, I guess I'll need a list.
Lists are useful for this sort of thing.
I've given up what's left of myself to creatures to allow myself to do these things. Once there's nothing else, I'm not letting my body be used by these things any longer.
Not tell the others I've broken their confidence. We thought you perhaps lost, and I think the others might believe that still.
What's to
I'm simply more patient than I am mad.
One's only truly lost when they lose the ability to properly prioritize. Your sister, your mother, and then revenge. Because I want it too. What this creature did to me in Trinket. Violated us. Puppets on strings. Paladin deserves death.
With this, he'll have something worse than death.
That's what I'm afraid of.
It's what he deserves. Hell, it's something I deserve.
We'll see. Thank you for talking.
Get ready.
I already am.
No, steal yourself. The monastery is on top of a mountain. If you believe down here is cold, yeah, it will be very bad up there.
I see.
Are you guys going back to the church at this point? Or are you within eyesight?
Yeah, probably.
I'd probably say they were like down the road from it. You could see them, but like they were just down the road, like out of earshot.
Errol's gonna go up to the two of them. Say, have you informed him of our concerns?
He knows of our concerns, yes.
I'm just gonna look at Magnus and go, I do not wish to lose another brother. I've already lost enough.
Learn the teachings of the monastery. Once you do, well, then I'll call you a brother.
So be it. Then I do not wish to lose a companion.
Are the others prepared to make the journey?
I hope so. We've gathered enough food and supplies to last us a couple days. I have some salt to preserve any meat we find along the way from our hunting.
I have some booze.
Other than that, we should have the proper equipment necessary. All that is needed is your sister ready enough to travel. Other than that, we have our scouting group. We should be fine.
How
With
conscious is your sister, Magnus?
As you ask that, you see Cal coming slowly out of the front of the building with her over his shoulder, and sits next to him to ensure that she doesn't fall off his shoulder.
If she can consent, then
And she is wrapped in like cloth.
I could teleport her part of the way.
Tyler, like, because I don't fully understand the nature of what Magnus has now, he's able to, like, hold onto rope and things of that nature, right?
Yeah, you would hold on to rope. You can, if it was barehanded, you could lower the durability of it. But it's like, it's the equivalent of like the mucus like a poison dart frog would make, but acidic instead of poisonous.
Yeah, the problem is more just figuring out something that can cover his hands that won't be burnt through. But Magnus will just like
I will note the only thing you have like your clothing obviously is like not been like destroyed. The cloak of displacement though seems to have not been touched.
yeah. But Magnus will he'll basically just break the cart down. He'll just like rip the cart's wheels off and like kind of start pulling planks and boards of it apart. And he'll just tell Cal, Styx, and anyone else who wants to help how to like put together a basically a medevac sled so they can drag her along instead of carry her like that.
Would you yourself be dragging, or do you want the Ripper to be pulling?
Magnus wouldn't want to burn through the rope, so he won't really be able to pull this.
I'm assuming you still want to be close, so you'd probably be up front with the dog along with me.
Yeah, probably that, because
Okay.
he's got to be the navigator for this at least.
All right. And Errol's going to use some of the rope that he found and fashion like a harness for the Ripper.
Okay. Roll a. I would say. Probably say sleight of hand for being able to like make the knots and like set it up the right way.
Magnus will give the help action wherever he can.
Okay.
Do I get advantage?
Yeah, you take it with advantage.
Okay. First roll is a 27. Second roll is a 12, so I'll take the 27.
Yeah, the 27 is gonna do it. Yeah, so you easily make this kind of makeshift harness. It's kind of like one of those ones, you know, the like the vest that like you put a collar or a leash on type deal, where it like wraps around the chest and then around the legs type deal and along the torso.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those with like a place to attach a rope along the top of it. So yeah, you make that and you guys set up the this makeshift sled. And Cal slowly kind of places her upon it after setting a bedroll upon it first, or having Sins place a bedroll upon it first. He then places her upon the bedroll.
What do we do with the corpses, Magnus? This is your territory.
I thought she would wake up before we left. Sons, I'm sorry to have interrupted your work. Thought perhaps they would have more use.
It's
We
fine.
pile them into a pyre. We light it. We give them a correct goodbye. The
Errol's,
ashes will send them to Frostheim.
Errol's going to spark a torch.
He before you do it, kind of gestures towards you. He says, "No need. It's going to take some time. I'll stay here and do that. It'll probably take me the rest of the day. There's quite a few bodies, but a little bit of heavy lifting has never bothered me anyways."
If you need to find somewhere other than Strixhaven to stay, go to the Blood Keep. Find Fada. Tell her her brother sends his regards.
He gives you a nod. He says, "When I'm done here, I will head there directly."
Maybe we'll even see you there.
It's a possibility. He walks into the church, kind of disappears out of sight.
All right. We're off then.
Yeah. And as you guys are kind of like gathering around this makeshift sled and Lee and Toothless, Journey would probably be the first to kind of notice, as she's the one that usually tracks Trinket. Trinket's been kind of off to the side the entire time. And Journey, you do see her she's kind of wedged herself into like a divot to like almost disappear a little bit. And you see that she is scribbling in what looks to be like a notebook of sorts.
I'm gonna go over there.
Okay.
Say, what you doing?
She kind of almost covers the notebook a little bit and kind of moves it away so you can't see inside. She says, "I'm just putting down a few thoughts."
Well, you don't need to hide it. I can't read. That was a joke.
She kind of half laughs a little bit and slowly kind of closes the book. You see, it's a bit worn. It looks to be a worn kind of leather bounded kind of book of sorts with a clasp. The thinking about it, you have never seen her pull out this notebook before. This is the first time it has appeared. Type deal.
You keep a journal?
Something like that, yes.
So a diary.
Sure. She's kind of like hugging it like against her chest, kind of like trying to keep it secure.
Stupid question, but are you doing okay? Like, not physically, but you know what I mean.
She kind of looks off to the side a little bit and just says, I'm fine for the most part. There's just little things here and there.
Little things what you have to look out for the most.
I don't think they're much of anything.
Sure.
If you'd like, you can roll an insight check.
19.
19. She's hard to read at this particular moment. You're not entirely sure if she's lying in any kind of way. You can tell that there is an inkling of something that might be hidden, but you're not entirely sure. She is kind of keeping very close to whatever she's telling you.
You tabaxi are hard to read. It's all the fur.
She tries to kind of force like a half smile for like a moment. Goes back to thinking.
We should talk to Magnus. I think he needs a friend right now, and well, I don't quite know if he sees me that way, so.
I'll consider it. She kind of
Funny. He used to talk his ear off, and now I'll consider it. Things really have changed.
She kind of gives you a very weak nod, kind of pulls her bag and kind of tosses or slides the notebook into the bag. And you notice the way that it's kind of slid in there, it looks like there's kind of like a hidden pocket that she's been storing this in. Because she doesn't do a great job at hiding the act of putting it away. She just kind of slides it in there in front of you. Kind of slowly gets back to her feet.
I'm not going to interrogate you over it anymore.
She kind of doesn't really respond. Kind of looks off towards the party a little bit.
Once his sister is safe and sure, Almori will have its reinforcements. Hopefully that will give you some peace of mind.
Yeah. That would.
All our sacrifices, all our pain will have been for something.
I hope it is.
Me too. Me too.
She kind of slowly walks kind of past you. Kind of begins to slowly make her way back over to the group. All right. As everyone kind of gathers together, Andraka, what are you doing as you're seeing them gathering?
I would have jumped down.
Okay. Well, as everyone is gathering, you all finally see your lizard folk friend kind of wander over, wearing his wooden mask that seems to be affixed to him now. Kind of stopping on the edge of the group. There's nothing else we want to do in this town. Let us begin our travels. You guys leave Giant's Bane. It's probably about just before midday by the time you guys do leave. Heading off into the mountains. Back into the mountains, essentially. Never really left, but... How about... I want someone to roll me perception check as you guys begin your travels. You're going to be moving at half pace because you are dragging, even though you have a wolf doing it, you are dragging someone around and you have to be careful about it. So
26.
26.
23?
23.
No. Well, you got 26. Huh?
Everyone
Alright.
need to roll it?
No, I just at least one person needs to roll it. Really. All right. So your first day of traveling, kind of leaving the empty city of Giant's Bane behind and heading off into the mountains towards in the direction of where Magnus would lead you to Winter's Bane. You find your actually let me roll something real quick. Yeah. You find your first day, it's relatively peaceful compared to some of the stuff that you've encountered in the past. It's a little cloudy on this day, a little bit of snowfall here and there, but no strong winds or anything that would restrict your travel in any kind of way. And as you do travel, as you've noticed a few times in the past, it seems that you see a familiar white raven flying about a few miles ahead at one point before kind of dipping off and disappearing.
Oh yes, Magnus slipped my mind before, but the Raven Man was here in town. Arrow and I encountered him on the outskirts.
Wow.
He gave us that information as to the goings on.
Was it useful?
Yes.
All right.
No.
Should we be concerned of that raven?
Unless you all cause a reason for aggression. Perhaps not.
Would the Ripper be hungry? Should I feed him?
I would think you would be feeding him along the way. I'm not making roll checks for you to feed him anymore.
Okay. All right.
What?
Double checking.
I would like to feed.
If you would like to feed,
What
I want an
time is
animal
it?
handling check.
Oh yeah. Tyler, at this point, if Journey wanted to feed him, would she need to roll checks?
It would still be checks. So you guys are still in the phase of like, I would say
Okay.
Journey is significantly closer than being like acquainted with this thing than anyone else. But
Who is? Journey
Journey,
is?
other than like Arrow, Arrow's obviously like the most acquainted, but Journey is like the closest to being acquainted and being considered friendly by it, essentially.
All right, so I'm gonna put meat on my quarterstaff and like, give it to it from a distance. You
Earl's
said
gonna
roll animal handling.
Errol's gonna see you feeding it on the quarterstaff and be like, "What a pussy."
So you're good at okay.
Animal
Animal
handling,
handling.
yes.
I got a 6.
It bites your quarterstaff along with the meat and begins to thrash. Do you want to hold on to the quarterstaff?
No.
You release the
Bounce back.
quarterstaff and it swings this thing around. I'm gonna roll a check real quick. It snaps your quarterstaff in two,
All right. Well, I didn't use it, so
but it does eat the meat, and it is content with eating the meat.
Well, you might have lost your quarter staff, Leo, but at least you got 2 dimes.
Master Kala.
Dime.
will-
how the
Jesus
hell do I
Christ.
fucking remove my?
2 fucking dimes.
You just click on the item, and then there should be a remove thing on the
2
description.
dimes and a
There you
nickel.
fucking 2 dimes and a nickel. Magnus will just see this and like looks back to Errol. Just Master Kala will want to wrestle with the Ripper. It's a pastime of his. That and fighting bears.
I think he's up to it. Aren't you, Toothless?
Magnus, do you
Glances over towards you.
Magnus, do you know if Rippers are particularly hostile towards Blinkhounds?
Rippers know 2 things: hungry and angry. They don't know hate.
Reassuring.
I will say, Magnus, this Ripper acts a lot differently than a lot you've seen in the past. This one seems a lot more mellow than some of the ones you have encountered.
Just looking at this one and just something's wrong with it. Like Magnus is just in his head, just something's wrong with this one. It's broken.
Are you
How-
smiling at all, Magnus? That's all Errol's looking for. I
Nah,
just want I want your approval of the fact that it hasn't ripped my throat out yet, like you said it would.
nah. He's just looking at it, and he kind of. There's like a slight frown when he sees that it's like all happy and shit. It's because like I mean that's a dog thing. That's not even weird even for a Ripper. But it's just like it only went for the quarterstaff. How sad.
Rude.
It's like Magnus just looks back at Errol. That one's lost too much of its fight.
Yeah.
What did you do? Neuter it?
Oh, well, did I come down as a Wendigo? I don't think I did. I was still regular. Yeah.
You were
Like,
ready with the Wendigo helm.
I was. Oh, that's what happened. Yeah. We're like, well, I have friends. Maybe we'll find them along the way.
Uh,
How many days travel is this place again? Winter's Bane?
Tyler?
Magnus would know it's normally like probably a week's journey, sometimes a little longer. For you
I
guys,
thought we were closer.
you were close to Cragger's Wreck. Cragger Wreck. Winter's Bane's a little further.
Okay.
Plus, this is a little more. This terrain's a little rougher than some of the stuff you've been through. So it is a tiny bit slower, but other than that, like it's not. The only reason you guys are going slower right now is because you are dragging a sled with a unconscious individual upon it.
Cal, if you're able to help Magnus' sister regain consciousness, I should be able to teleport her through some of the more difficult stretches of the trek. She needs to be conscious for it.
I can attempt. I can't make any promises though.
Then don't.
That's,
All right, we'll just going.
yeah, you guys travel through the rest of the day. You do find you do eventually like find a good place to possibly take camp by the end of the day, as like the sun is like setting. You find like a nice kind of flat ridge along the edge of the mountain. that you are
Tiny
on,
hut.
probably.
Go.
What did you say? Oh, tiny
It's a
hut.
tiny go.
I didn't know what you said. All I heard was go, and I was like, what did he say to me?
So yeah, I just cast tiny hut.
All right. Would anyone like to keep watch for the night?
I'll take the first watch to go get food, but I'll need someone else.
Magnus is gonna stay out with Errol because it's just like the entire reason we're not going directly to Bloodkeep is because of Errol, so there's stuff he needs to tell him anyway.
Okay. Would you like to RP this, or are you gonna just send him
Oh yeah,
stuff?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Session. Woo.
It's just like Magnus like sitting in the snow, just looking out, just like,
It's a
how
dead
long are you
moment.
planning on staying in the monastery?
However long I need to learn, but I don't want to hold up the group.
I need to practice. I know that, but I don't know. I don't know how long that will take for you.
Their training's
Will.
similar to that of my old monastery. I might be able to pick it up quicker, so we could save some time. And I'll motion to Toothless for him to, I guess, go out and hunt.
Animal
got a-
handling.
Well, I already rolled in advance. I got a 22.
Okay. He does go out. He's gone for roughly an hour, and he does kind of mosey back, kind of casual like. And when he does come back, he seems to, in mouth, has what looks to be the leg of a goat.
Does he
But
bring it?
He brings it over to you and drops it.
I'll just spark up a little. Do we have a fire already?
If you were outside, would you guys have been making? Well,
put up
the bubble
tiny-
is warm, so you guys don't need you don't need a fire within the bubble. If you're sitting outside, if you wanted to have made a fire, you could have.
Yeah, I would just. I would. I thought we would have. Whatever. In
Okay,
worst
yeah.
case.
If you were thinking like, yeah, if that would make sense, yeah, you'd have a fire then.
Yeah, I just put it over the fire for it to cook a little bit, and then I'll just scratch them.
He kind of lays down next to you and just kind of lays in the snow.
And go. What? How long do you think you'll need to train?
I don't know how long it will take for Kala to break you. Only then can you start learning.
Well, I'm already broken, so she may have an easy time.
You were trained somewhere else. The master, he does not train in a specific art. He trains in harnessing what you are, what you have been, and what you will become. He teaches you to take what is inside yourself and control it, and turn it into something akin to a weapon. He will make you suffer to do this.
Suffering is a close friend.
When you meet him, you will know him as he's lacking an arm.
Is there anything else I should know about him?
He's bigger than me. Somehow he has a beard.
He's not a purebred Goliath. It's the only way. No, just kidding.
Even with one arm, he could still kill a platoon of 100 well-trained men. When you meet him, you get down on your knees, hands to the floor, forehead to the stone, and you say your name.
I appreciate this opportunity, Magnus.
He's a teacher. I wouldn't be a student if I didn't bring him more.
I would like to apologize for my outburst earlier, but
you have not grown up in the world that I have, with the beliefs that I have. You simply did not understand, and that is nothing to be sorry about.
as for trading the decahedron, I could sense that you weren't necessarily pleased with that decision.
That will be dealt with in its own time.
Just want you to know I made the choice that would better help us if that time were to come that we would have to face the dragon. And if he does appear, I'll take him on myself, for it was my actions that caused him to hunt us down.
You gave up a weapon.
The dragon says it wasn't a weapon, but
Anything can be a weapon. And not only that, you gave up a weapon without letting those who would rely on it to know about that. It is not that I am not planning revenge. It is that Master Kala, that's the best kind of revenge I could ever play against somebody.
we'll see what the master has in store. I'll take a couple bites of the meat and then offer it as well.
Yeah, he'll just like rip a piece off so he doesn't like contaminate the rest of it. And just I had to spend years training under him to become what I am. The good with the bad. I wonder how bad it would be if those years were put together into a few days.
If needed, I am willing to separate myself from the rest of the group to get the full experience.
Your first day, Master Kala will need to see how good you are. He'll fight you. Try to not die.
Should I use any of the tools I have, or just fist only?
Use what you believe is necessary. This is a man who casually kills bears with a single hand. I don't know what you believe will be necessary for that, but he won't die by anything as minuscule as either of us.
Then I don't plan to hold back.
Oh, he's also my father-in-law.
Arrow kind of perks up at this and goes, "Your family is quite terrifying, the more I learn about it."
I didn't know who his daughter was when I had the wedding.
To each their own, I guess. Have you fought a bear, Magnus?
I lost against one. It was a test when I was about 12. Kyla just watched and laughed.
Do you think you have the strength for what's yet to come then, if we are going to war?
I think if I die, I will do it gloriously.
Mm. Well, I would say I hope to witness that, but I feel like I'd be on the battlefield as well with you. Or I hope if you would allow me to. At this point, it's about time I reconnect with my family.
I don't know how savage you believe my people are, but do understand. Savagery begets strength. But that's not the only thing that can make someone strong. No one around here survives long if they can't understand that.
My view of your people may be tainted, but savage is not the word I would use for them. Savage is something that is mindless and solely acting on instinct, ripping and tearing as it pleases. That is not the word I would use to describe your people.
Mm. Well, we're going to find. We're going to find what you're made of when we get there. Maybe you'll see why conviction is so special to my people.
If conviction is what your master seeks, I hope that mine will suffice. And if not, maybe he could teach me more. This world is cruel.
My master is crueler.
And I can't wait to meet him.
Don't piss him off or you'll be on the stretcher. It's not as nice as it sounds.
Errol's gonna kind of just chuckle, and from what you've described, I'm no bear, so I think I may already be on a stretcher.
No, it's what they use on the smaller ones. You have to hang from a bar suspended from the ceiling. Then two of the quarterstaff masters beat you with sticks. They don't hold back.
Yes. Good old core workout. I miss those days. I apologize if you guys could hear Mackenzie snoring at all.
Oh, no, we haven't.
Okay.
Now that you mention it, no. I'm just kidding. Okay. Is there anything else?
Magnus would just be keeping watch.
Yeah, Errol's just gonna do the same. Actually, he's gonna kind of like lean against the Ripper and keep watch.
If you would like, roll perception checks. If you want to keep, just like be focusing very deeply on everything around you.
I got a nat 20, so 32.
Oh shit, same.
Let's go.
Wow.
Let's
All
fucking
right.
go.
Nothing's
As
going
you
past
guys
you
are
two.
kind of keeping watch, you do notice on probably around near the end of your shift, you do notice that off on kind of a different mountain peak, there does appear to be someone moving about. They seem to be looking around for something on the peak. based on what you can tell. Though you can't make out who they are, all you can tell is they are dressed in some sort of like cloak and seem to be moving around by themselves.
You see that as well, Magnus.
Yes.
I might go investigate.
They seem to be of about average height, though, like a normal, like human or elven height.
Light a torch and the rest will come to you.
I plan on not lighting one, and I cast Pass Without a Trace, and I'm stealthing.
Yeah, no, like Magnus just meant like light a torch. He'll get the party.
Oh, okay, my bad. I interpreted wrong. All right. Whoopsies. All right. Stealthing. Jesus Christ. Holy fuck. The advantage. I got a 36 for stealth.
36. All right, you are but wind in the night as you fly overhead, kind of moving over to this opposite mountain, which from the camp is roughly about a half, 3/4 of a mile, somewhere about that is the distance you end up flying to get to this point. And upon kind of like getting overhead, the movement of this individual, your night vision would allow you to see this. It's familiar. You've I'm going to say with the 32, you would recognize it is the drow individual that you've seen multiple times now. Seeming to be climbing this mountain and kind of moving along the edge of it with some sort of... That's what I'm looking for. He's moving with a purpose. There's a clear reason he is moving where he is moving.
The draw individual, are you talking about... Is this the
Mr.
one with...
Raven guy.
It's the He
Yeah.
doesn't have either of his birds with him, though. It is just him.
I'm just gonna watch him.
You just see him moving along. You do also notice that he is also wielding that pepper box that he had pulled out before. He is holding it tightly as he is moving along, as if he is expecting something.
I'm gonna cast Minor Illusions and say, long time no see, old friend. What brings you to these mountains?
The moment you say that, you see him mutter something as he pulls from a pouch a kind of a thing of like coal dust and throws it into the air and casts darkness around himself.
I would just wait, because darkness is only in a 15-foot radius, so I just wait, I guess, in the air.
You're gonna wait the time that it would for the spell to dissipate?
I'll just cast Minor Illusions again and be like, that's not really necessary. I'm simply asking why you're here.
What is your passive perception?
22.
22. You would notice that within a few moments of him doing this, he reappears roughly what is the distance that these boots allow him to do this? 15 feet away from it. He just kind of reappears. He's kind of looking around now, kind of like trying to figure out where the voice came from.
I'm just gonna land in front of him.
You're just revealing yourself to him.
Yeah, at this point.
At first, he kind of like, as he's done before, points the pepper box at you and pauses. And then slowly lowers it. Kind of lets out like a sigh. Just says, "And what is it that you, or why is it that you would like to know?"
Traveling in the night, saw you moving about. Just curiosity.
Well, if you know anything about my kind, we see best in the dark.
That is true. That didn't answer my question, though.
I'm hunting. If you need to know.
What kind of creature are you hunting?
The elusive kind. One that's caused a friend of mine some issues.
Is it a person? Is it a creature? Let's be a little more descriptive here.
I'm not sure what race they are. I just know that they've been causing quite a bit of issues.
And they're nearby?
Based on what my birds told me, yes.
I'm gonna use my serpent ring and tell him to look for others, not the group in the tent nearby.
They're not within range of you to that ring to even be able to detect them.
Oh.
Because if you read it, it has a range. It's 100 feet.
Oh, it does have a range. Oh,
Yeah.
spicy. Okay. Maybe like, do you require assistance?
No, I have means of tracking them. And he kind of taps. There's a small helm that he's been kind of wearing under his hood, kind of like it's almost like one. It's almost like a metal headband of sorts. And you do notice upon like the very top of it, just above his like forehead, seems to have a rune that kind of represents like an eye, as well as various other runes that kind of wrap around it that look to be hand carved into this helm.
Are they up ahead?
I'm not entirely sure if they're along this path, higher up or lower down the mountain. But I'm going to kill them when I find them, take what they have, and then I'll ask questions when I'm done.
I'll keep an eye out.
If you insist, he kind of turns back and keeps moving along this kind of makeshift path that he's kind of navigating along.
I'm gonna fly a little bit up, see if I could see any fires within the area
Okay.
or anything that would give away someone's presence.
Jared, you have another one, by the way.
28.
28. Okay. Jared,
I don't see it.
in the chat?
I don't see it.
You don't see it?
No.
I'll do it myself. Alright, I'll ban it. I'm tired of advertisements on my streams. On my main channel, we've probably banned over 100 accounts by this point.
Love it.
It's all just people want to raise your viewer count. Stop. Clearly, we do not care. Anyways, looking about, I'm gonna roll something real quick. You said what was your roll?
28.
You do not see any signs of any kind of encampments. You do not see any fires. Just nothing out of the sorts.
I'm just gonna go back to the camp.
Okay, you return
Not
back to
my
your camp.
problem.
Yeah, you return back to your camp, and by that point, it's roughly time to swap shifts. So, who would you like to awaken?
Should we awaken 1 or 2 people, Magnus?
One person should be enough.
By the way, it was the drow with the crows, the ravens. Seems to be hunting someone.
How interesting.
I'll wake up Leobardo.
All right.
No, you
We'll
should have let him
curling
have
up
his
with
beauty
the Ripper.
What?
I'm curling up with the Ripper. You're awake.
Damn. Should I? How awake we saying I am? Killed Tyler.
If I shake you, would you wake up?
I mean, probably.
I would say if you're consistent enough, you could wake him.
Well, I'd shake him. If he doesn't wake up, I'd just dump some snow in his face and then walk off.
That would wake him. Yeah.
Rude.
So you are now awake.
Do a big yawn. Am I the only one awake?
It seems that Magnus and Errol seem to be settling down. You're the only one. They
That's
selected.
boring.
You can choose.
You always
to wake
choose
yeah, you
to
can
wake
choose
someone
to
up,
wake
yeah.
someone else up. If you wish to speak with someone.
Everyone have their beauty sleep. I'm gonna go a bit of ways from camp. Wait, hold on. What kind of are we like? We're not in the open, are we?
It's a ridge that's kind of like on the edge of the mountain, so like yeah, you're in the open, but the dome blends in with the snow, so
The dome.
yeah. The
Gonna be real
the
with
magical bubble,
Oh yeah, I have not been paying attention.
the hut, Lehman's tiny hut.
Okay.
Literally one of the most useful utility spells for traveling.
Epic. So what happens if I go outside of this hut?
It's cold because inside the hut there's a maintained temperature. So it is colder.
There's what, Evan?
There's a fire.
There's a fire next to the dome too. Yes.
Like in the dome?
No, it's next to it. It's to keep warm outside of the dome.
Gotcha. Does the dome stop sound?
No. It's just opaque on the outside. You can't see through it.
You can see out of it.
Yeah, you can see out of it. You can't see into it.
Unfortunate. I was gonna just practice the lyre without trying to make sure I don't wake anyone, but
The way I'd do, like I'm watching them there, is I just set up a spinning chair in the middle of the hut.
you set up a what?
A spinning like office chair or whatever in the middle of the hut, and just like stay on watch by spinning the chair.
Journey just has a spinning stool in her bag. It's canon.
Is she actually?
No, but I like to think that way, that she just has a spinning stool in her bag.
Damn. Alright, well, Am I able to use firebolt to start another fire?
Like, you trying to make a fire elsewhere?
Yes.
Yeah, you can make another fire somewhere else. Yeah.
I want to move far enough away from the camp so that they won't hear me if I'm like playing quietly, so not super far. But like keep watch on the camp, look around
Yeah,
every
you
now.
can move to like the edge of this ridge, and it should
Dope.
be just far enough that it's not like loud by any means.
And I just want to play the lyre. Somber song, I suppose.
Do you want to? What was I thinking? Are you keeping watch while doing this, or are you just focusing on the lyre?
No, I'm keeping watch. I'm not playing a very intensive song.
So roll a perception check for me.
8.
8?
I said
Or
8.
8. Okay. Those are very similar words, all right?
Oh, for fuck's sake, I got a 12.
Okay. You go through your shift. You don't really see anything. It's fairly quiet night. You hear the wind whistling around you every so often as it'll like pick up in a gust, bringing with it a very cold, frostbitten feeling from time to time. But your time passes without anything occurring.
Epic.
Who would you like to wake up next as you return to camp?
Journey, I suppose.
Okay.
Anything happen?
Nope. Other than cold, I set up a small fire a little ways away, playing a lyre if you wanted to practice your bardic talents.
Yeah. She stretches and kind of takes off her blanket and just kind of wraps it around her like a second cloak as she exits the bubble.
Yes, the classic. I got out of bed, but I don't want to get out of bed. Move.
Yeah. And bringing the bed with me, and
Yes.
then I sit out near the fire and I just do fire pit things like stare into it until my eyes hurt.
Are you gonna?
Roast some marshmallows. Actually, how long how long was I on watch for?
It was about. It'd be about like 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stay awake then. I got plenty of sleep.
Yeah, so I'll do a perception check or whatever.
I'm gonna go back to that fire I was at, continue playing.
You only got. You would have
Huh?
only gotten 3 hours of sleep from the first watch.
How long did we travel?
You travel a full day or half a day. But...
I just got a 5. It's almost one of those things where it rolled on 12 and then it hit the edge of the screen on D&D Beyond.
Okay.
Imagine instead of like paying like a bunch of attention, I'm just playing with like thaumaturgy. Because like it allows you to like change the color of like fire and that kind of stuff. So I'm just kind of like turning it green and then purple and then just kind of bored out of my head.
Yeah, I'm still gonna stay at the fire, lean against like a log or tree or something.
There would be like
Hopefully
a rock.
close.
There's like little
Like yeah,
rocks.
rock close enough to the fire, kind of nod off, but still like technically awake. Make sense?
Yeah, you're like half asleep.
Mhm.
Okay. During your time of playing with the fire and not really paying that much attention, there is a period in the night that you do hear a single loud bang that is some distance away from you, kind of southwards in the direction of which you are traveling. And it is the only one you hear. There's one bang that catches your attention for a moment, and you just listen in silence for several minutes. Nothing follows.
And I was kind of like, I'll stop like doing thaumaturgy at that point and just kind of sit in silence.
And it's About an hour passes of just listening as the horizon begins to start changing colors. The sun slowly making its way up. And a new day has dawned as your watch comes to an end. Do you wish to wake up the party, or do you wish to let them wake up on their own?
Let them wake up on their own.
Okay. As the
Because,
sun-
the dome's going to pop anyway. They'll be
Oh
woken
yeah, the
up.
dome does pop. Yes. So yeah, as your shift ends, you hear the dome. I don't think makes any noise when it dissipates, but I just like to think of it just going gone.
Yeah.
And the rest of you are hit with cold air as the cold quickly replaces the warmth.
Not me. I was already in the cold.
I was already in the cold. My
I
clothes
was
are
born
frozen.
in the cold.
Molded by it. I didn't see the warmth until I was a man.
You were adopted.
Sounds like a person raised in Tiberia.
All right. I didn't see the warmth until I was a man.
I'll wake up, kind of stretch as the Ripper awake, is toothless up.
It kind of wakes up when you do. Kind of like lets out a yawn as you kind of get up. It's like your stirring kind of woke it up.
All right. I'm gonna check around, look over to Journey, who is already awake. Like, did anything happen during your watch?
Not much. There was a loud bang in the direction of Winter's Bane, but nothing else happened.
It sounds then that our drow raven companion found who he was looking for.
Oh, did you see that guy on your watch?
Yeah, I had chatted with him. He was hunting down someone.
You always seem to be following in his shadow.
It does seem that way. Is anyone hungry? Do we need breakfast? Ignore the people in the background.
As you kind of ask that, you see Cal's already kind of like pulled out what looks to be a sort of ration that he had within his bag and starts munching on that. Trinket kind of gives you a very small nod. Kind of still waking up.
Errol's just
Yeah.
gonna
I'll eat a
stretch.
ration as well.
I'm taking out Toothless to go hunting.
Okay. I'm
Alright.
not gonna make any rolls for that. You would just be simply watching him do it.
Yeah.
Which he ends up
Grab-
killing like a small kind of mountain goat that you stumble upon not far down the mountain.
He gets that. We'll come back to camp.
Yeah. And everyone else kind of just eats rations and prepares for the journey ahead. Cal checking on Magnus's sister, kind of waving a hand over her, trying to see if any kind of magic will work. No kind of success of any kind.
Alright. I'll harness up Toothless.
Okay. You guys all get
Get ready.
perfectly set up again. And begin your travels once more. Perception checks, whoever would like to do them.
I suck at them.
Oh god, 25.
Oh god, 25.
That's bad.
Okay. You continue to travel, making pretty good distance on this day. Yeah, it's a clear day. No clouds in the sky. A little bit of wind, not too much. Though about mid-afternoon, um, you notice first, Errol. You would notice your Ripper kind of sniffing at the air, kind of intrigued by a smell. Before, after a few minutes of just walking, noticing a bit of crimson within the snow. And upon following the droplets of it within the snow, you all come upon a small kind of alcove within the mountain. And within the space, you find uh, the decapitated body of what looked to be a Kenku, with its head mounted on a stick. And words written out kind of in blood on the ground. Death to Sarthstag.
I will just acknowledge the message. Keep going.
All right. You guys, after this little incident or sighting, you do make it through the rest of the day. Errol, you would notice about this point as you guys kind of make camp again. Some distance away, probably a few miles ahead of you, you do see kind of dissipating smoke. Like someone is trying to restrict the amount of smoke that comes from a fire, but isn't getting all of it. So like probably good 3, 4, maybe 5 miles ahead of you, kind of on the edge of the mountain as you guys begin to make camp.
I was gonna see if we could make camp up there, like acknowledge it and make our way up.
To where the camp that specific fire is?
Yeah,
The question for the party.
Errol will just kind of point it out.
What do you believe will profit from it?
A pre-made camp. It's most likely the drow after his hunt.
All right. Let's pay a visit.
All right.
Don't get poisoned like last time.
All right, you guys continue moving towards the spot. The sun kind of sets before you reach it. Probably about roughly 30 minutes to an hour after the sun has set, you do reach what looks to be a dying fire, a recently occupied camp. It looks like there is, you can see a spot where there was a bedroll. The snow kind of melted in spots. You can see there are bird droppings here and there along the edge of the camp, as well as a rock that looks to have been kind of, the top of it looks to have been almost worn down to make a perfectly flat seat.
We'll set up camp here.
All right. And as you all kind of set up this camp for the night, I think this is where we'll stop. I think this is a good place to stop.
Okay.
So, what do you guys think? I had fun with this. I'm glad with what happened.
Good RP.
I didn't have to do anything for half of that. That was awesome.
Would I be able to have figured out the or started figuring out some of the Ripper's personality?
By this point, you get an idea it's very mellow for the most part, and it's kind of, I'm trying to think of the words. I'm thinking the kind of personality. It's not like super reactive to things. It's very calm in most situations and doesn't seem to get worked up. Though the few times you've probably seen it get angry, when it gets angry, it gets angry and
Mm-hmm.
will tear anything to shreds. But you have kept it at bay for the most part, so that it's just kind of content. It's like a typical like wolf personality of like kind of just vibing, just kind of doing its thing. Because to be honest, wolves are really not that, unless like that's their personality. Most wolves are not that aggressive. They're just kind of, it's like a dog. They just kind of hang out.
Yeah.
But on that note, I greatly enjoyed you guys doing that RP, and that was, I'm gonna be honest, some of that RP was like the pinnacle of what I've been wanting. I just got to figure out how to work it into everything. But we'll figure that out. We're all growing together, and I'm actually greatly enjoying this, and I'm excited to see where this ends up. But on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you want to catch us in the next one, there are 3 ways to do it. You can follow the Twitch, turn on those notifications so that you are notified when we go live. You can join the con Discord, where we will post Twitter feeds. We post exactly when we go live, and we also post a few other things on occasion. And possibly, if our community builds enough, we will possibly do events with some of the members of our community. And the last way is to follow us on Twitter, where I try to keep everyone up to date on when we are streaming. Sometimes we have things happen and the Twitter doesn't get reached out to, so the other 2 are better, but the Twitter is a way of also supporting us and knowing when we're going live. And if you want to catch up on previous episodes, we have a beautiful YouTube page set up just for you with all the playlists that have each episode in order as they happen, so you can catch up from beginning to present. And as always, we hope you guys enjoyed, and we hope to see you all in the next one. Peace.